crossover.
And we're live.
Oh.
I'd have one sent to that character too. Coffee for all.
Title of the episode.
That's okay. I was just waiting till people were finished talking.
Coffee for all.
Yes.
Title of the episode.
Okay, so we're up to session number 94. And that is season 5, episode 5, dealing with character choices. I'm sure it's not too earth-shattering for them.
Could be.
I was gonna say.
Make their own choice.
Quite literally could be.
So this is season 5, episode 5.
There are spells for working out what should be the right.
What's the right choice?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, what we really want is a wizard.
Okay, so people get here today to introduce themselves. We'll start with Jeremy.
Good evening all, I'm playing Black Nimmer, the Atruaghin tribesman, originally christened under a different name, but somewhere along the line in his history he accidentally gave his name away to a dragon, and so was then subsequently rechristened by Atruaghin himself when he was told to take on the mantle of chieftain of the dragon tribe, and also continue to work towards becoming savior of the clans, which, considering his original history of being a simple lawman, simple watchman, he's trying to fill very big shoes.
I was going to say, you have a very complicated life for a simple man.
Yes. He's a PC.
Some people just want to be simple, some people get stuck with a lot of baggage.
Yes. Whilst trying to stay simple.
Okay, next person we have today is Kesley.
I am playing Lonnie, holder of many titles. She is the human of the Makai people, fighter, weapons master. Honestly, like, I would guess best description of like a pure adventurer out there to have a good time, loyal to the people that she loves. She met Drazzles at some point along the way, and he kind of roped her into some stuff, and she's like, you know what, I like you, I'll hang out with you. And so now, through that, she's been able to gain quite a few different titles. I just gained a new one last time, didn't I? I forget what it was.
You wrote it down.
I wrote it down, and I do not have my notes today, so I don't remember what it was. I bet it was something funny. Yeah, so that's Lonnie.
I have the not necessarily blessed talent of having watched the video just before game started.
Yes.
Know that you added another title.
Yep.
No idea what it is.
Yep. I know it's written down somewhere. Don't remember
It's
it.
in the episode.
Exactly.
Yep. That's what I just finished watching and what I don't remember.
References always come in handy.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm gonna print off a new fancy character sheet with all the 10th
With all your
level
titles?
stuff, with enough space for because I know we'll be going to 11 soon. So enough space for 11 stuff as well, and I'm gonna have a specific space. Titles.
No, the intro page. Add a page.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Add a whole page.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah, your intro page.
Good state. The titles might have a description of their own for each
Exactly.
title.
Exactly.
Yes, with the title of holder of many titles.
Yes.
Which then brings us to Paul.
Who is the dark-haired pretty boy elf, warlock, healer, and diplomat.
You've got a fair amount of titles yourself.
Yeah, quite a few.
That's
Oh
just
no,
a
not
description.
titles, they're descriptives.
That's just a description. My actual titles.
Descriptives.
I've got a few titles as well.
Quite
I'm
some
aiming for
pretty
more.
up there, high official titles too.
Oh yeah, like
Lonnie gives herself titles.
chieftain of
I
my
feel like we
clan
should
and-
all organise our titles and then have.
Well, I gifted you one.
Yes, you did.
We should
Yes.
have a
Bearer of
section
the
where
clan
we have a title ceremony where we just go through all our titles.
Yeah.
Well, if we go full formal, it will actually be including all the titles. And I have actually used it on a couple of occasions. I've just said I give all the titles.
I think we need to go to a ball and then all of our titles need to be read off. I
Mm.
love it.
Yes.
Well, they had a meeting with the Sultan
And
of
yes,
Yalarum
you
where
didn't.
That was done.
where the formal titles were dropped,
Yep.
and that's why you got a completely different response than if you just said, "I'm an adventurer."
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I actually have some weight behind my presence.
100%.
Though he didn't use his title of Prince of the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
I'm leaving that one a bit quiet.
That one might be a little bit
That's-
of a mystery.
that's-
Secret prince. Oh, you can even find your secret princess. That'd be so nice.
It'll be in a pub in
We're gonna
Tasmania.
have a whole Hallmark movie
would be amusing.
episode.
Hey, but the character might want another secret prince. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
Elves don't really have this
They
preference
don't have
thing.
a preference.
Yeah.
Either way, it's gonna be a Hallmark movie. It's gonna be
Okay.
great.
He does presently have a girlfriend.
See, there we go. But as soon as the big city's too
But-
much for you and you want to go to a small country town and fall in love with a baker, there you go.
There's also nothing wrong with.
I know
there's
which,
also nothing
which
wrong with
movie
being
you're
poly.
talking about.
All of them.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yes. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with elves being poly either.
Exactly.
That's
There you
right.
go.
Just,
It's an
just
adventure. He's got a princess in every port.
Which then brings us to Ariadna.
who is actually Calcrix. So not this.
Yay.
Adorable this. Calcrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings. And her companions Grindelwaffle Brewmeister, her coffee brewing gnome, and her other companion Eep, who appears as a plant-like creature on one of her horns. And as per her representative here, she also has a fair number of black scales now due to her association with Queen of Darkness and her long list of pen pals, which actually grew in number on Friday's game. We added a halfling to Thal's druidic pen pal list, and if it goes on one's pen pal list, it ends up on all the others.
It's like a
Right.
communication tree.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little communication tree.
I like
So,
it.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yep. We've hoping to make the right decision tonight regarding what we take out of the Nithian Tomb of Entropy in terms of fighting off the Master.
Well, Tomb of the Afterlife, really.
Tomb of the Afterlife, yes. Probably a better description.
Because it does cover all 5 major afterlives.
Yep. There's 5 different afterlives.
Yep.
For the Nithians, anyway.
Well,
What are the 5
all the people.
afterlives?
So,
right.
whichever sphere you dedicate
Oh, yes.
yourself
Oh,
to
okay.
is
Sorry,
the afterlife
I
you
was-
end up
Right.
in.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was
I see.
thinking of the 5 different types of soul that the Egyptians had.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't sure what you were referring to, but now
Yeah.
now I understand.
But in this case, it's the 5 spheres.
Yeah.
Yes, the thought,
So it's one of 5,
time,
not all 5.
entropy, water,
Water and
fire.
time is the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Fire and energy is the same.
Right.
Matter and
Ah.
earth is the same. Thought and air is the same. And entropy and darkness is the same.
I can't remember what her new title is. I get credit for remembering
You do?
any of those spheres.
All good. It doesn't help that it's only partially used in the source material, so you have to keep squishing it in there
Mhm.
to make it keep using.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay,
So-
so bringing us back to where we are, you had a job to recover an archaeologist from a tomb for Adrian, which you managed to do, bring her back to life, find out why she was there, decide you want to help her finish her job, then manage to get in there and open up the tomb itself, battle with one of the keepers on there being a greater mummy that turned into one of the demigods, probably best way to say it, because literally it was a Herculean character.
It was the great hero of fables, but his name has been
Legendary
forgotten.
hero.
Yes.
His name has been removed from history.
Yeah.
But everyone knows
Everyone
his
knows
picture,
him.
everyone knows
Yeah.
his deeds, no one knows his name.
Yes.
So
Is
he's
that because
actually-
of his failed
That's because
go
he's
at godship?
It's because he's Nithian.
he may actually be predate the Nithians.
Yeah.
It's,
But also
but
it's the
he's-
fact
he's-
that he's
but-
he's
yeah.
become a representation of
Yeah.
the heroic
but
legend.
he comes from cultures not just descended from Nithian.
Yeah.
Which means he predates Nithian.
Yeah. But his name's been removed somehow.
His name's been
Through-
removed for some reason.
Yeah. Either association with Nithia or somebody else that was name removed. There's a few around. The gods get very petty about something.
A little bit.
Well, there are times that becoming a god means your history is wiped, and sometimes it is your failure get your name wiped. There are so many ways to do it, especially when entropy is about removing the dead weight,
Yeah, yeah.
and sometimes that
And
is.
sometimes it's just talking to the wrong dragon.
Or sometimes it's just being way too polite to a dragon.
What would be amusing is later on when you're significantly more powerful, and you've got something to deal with. You go back and trade your name back from him, so you get your original name back.
Yeah, that's always an option.
But
See-
dragons are more likely to hoard the name and take the new name too, and have both
I
names.
was going to
Yes.
say,
Yeah,
I
careful.
envision this scenario more realistically as more potential to lose his current name again
Yeah.
than to actually get his old name back.
That comes down to how wise he is and how good he is thinking around the way a dragon works. And if he can do this successfully, it would actually be a really good mark of a shaman of a dragon clan.
There you go.
Yeah,
If you can
but to be fair,
if you can outdeal
It's
a
not like I
dragon.
really want to try and get back to the place where that dragon actually was.
Well, there is that.
Yeah, there's that too.
But we know where it is. But if you want to lead a dragon clan, you have to be able to deal with dragons successfully.
Though that was a fey dragon, not a mortal dragon.
Yeah.
Dragon. He's a shaman of the dragon
I
clan.
have a feeling that were Kalkrix present at this conversation, she'd be giving you a look right now that says, I beg to differ about the dragon being a
Big
dragon
green.
being a dragon.
Big green.
Yeah.
You're dragon clan. You're not specific dragon clan.
So,
Okay.
so while this conversation is happening, Drazzle and Kalkrix are kind of looking at Lull eating biscuits and going, we're not going to weigh in on this.
Oh no, they'll probably Drazzle will probably be pointing out that the world really doesn't want to advance his dragonologist, does he?
It
To be
was
fair,
obviously a dragon.
It's not
Yes.
like the conversation could actually
As with
happen.
Drazzle's comment.
It's obviously
Yeah.
not
Oh, yeah.
the loss of the name.
Maybe I should advance dragonologist as a fake dragon. I don't know. That would be a little.
So,
that would be
um,
interesting.
can we get a recap of what the 5 items were?
Did
Because
anyone write it down?
I wrote it down. I don't.
So
That's not the paperwork
there's
yet.
the sword that
Yep.
looks like black flame.
Yep.
I believe there's the staff, which is kind of not on the table because it's split in different places.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's, as a pair, a crook and a staff, I think.
Flail.
The flail, that's it.
Yeah.
And then there's an hourglass, which is time. Then there's the lost religious text of the Nithians. And then there's the translating key.
The translating stone.
Stone,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Rosetta Stone.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
And
the
I'm
thing
pretty
is-
sure that's all of them. Technically, the staff isn't a part of the pile, but it was
No.
one of the things sitting in our consideration because
Yeah.
the throne has room, I think, for the sword and there's a space for the staff.
Yeah.
And so we were thinking about them maybe as a pair.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, like, as far as we know of what the master's design is he is going to campaign to be a god of entropy, and we know if he gets to the trees of life, then like done deal. That's where his power source is. So
Basically.
The information,
The elves are gone.
the elves will be gone.
The elves will be
Basically.
gone,
Yeah.
and entropy will get a major win.
and the
Yes.
information we got from Queen of Darkness
Yeah.
was that the hourglass was probably not something we want to trifle with.
Not the best one because it was it's like a
The thing is,
one-time
it's still a choice on.
go back in time.
It's a choice though on. Is it still something we want to keep away from the master?
Because that was the
Do we
other
want
thing
to choose it
too,
and then
is
lock it
like
up somewhere?
all these items are god level items, but they also come with a curse.
Yes.
So it's not that we necessarily want to be like, it's not for us to be using because there's a lot of power with, not necessarily maybe curse, but like there is so much power to it that
no.
it is
Martin's wording was actually curse.
was cursed. Okay.
So last I remember,
Every
Jeremy
artifact
was
is cursed. There's no artifact that doesn't carry a curse.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeremy was
because like
saying
that's what makes it an
To some
artifact.
extent. Yeah.
that the religious text is probably a big no because we'd attract attention from the gods because gods wiped it out.
Yeah.
And although he wasn't entirely against the crook and the flail, he viewed them as evil because they were made out of metal. You were hypothesizing that if we grabbed the hourglass and convinced the master that it wasn't cursed, that he might use it and curse himself. And that's kind of as far as our theory deliberations had gotten.
Because then we ended pretty late. So
Yeah, there is the thing of if we do that with any of the items, we could potentially persuade him if we're good.
Well,
that
Calcrix was
it's not
considering giving
cursed.
the hourglass to Drazzle because Drazzle is trying to do a time-related thing, and he could hide
he's
it.
good with time. So like
Yeah.
that's our other question too, is are we taking an item to deny accessibility, or are we taking an item with the idea that it will end up in the master's hands? That's our whole
part of the-
debate
And
as
because
well.
that was the other question, was that if we're trying to deny accessibility to the master, what options or where can we take it to make it more inaccessible than it is right now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were debating.
Yeah.
Shadows to look after. Part of the problem is we don't know enough about the master
No.
or what he's doing, how he's doing it, and how he acts as a person to know which would be the best one to either attempt to use on him or
Did
against
we
him, or
say-
to deny from him. We don't know enough.
Did we say if the archaeologist was with us still, or was she outside?
She was
She
with
was
us.
with you?
Yeah.
Is it possible to ask her any input, like maybe she has more information from Redvian or something, or if she knows anything about these items?
Or if she had ideas on what might be found within this item that she was actually looking for.
Well, does she
Yeah.
have any ideas at all that would be
Yeah.
useful for what we're trying to do?
What she knew was that a great power had been locked away here before the fall of Nithia.
Right.
And it was such that it was deemed too powerful for the Nithians to use, and it was and this was at the height of Nithia.
Right. But there's nothing about whether they created it or not. So there's still nothing that says which item it would be based on that history.
Well, no, in the sense that obviously there were lots of items that actually got locked away. The history the archaeologists had was Joseph had reference to a vault in which something was locked
Jeremy,
away.
please. What I said was, the history that we've just been given does not give us sufficient information to determine which item to exclude from our determination log. Because they decided not to use it, it could have predated them. It could still be any item. If it's an explicit, the history does not say it's a Nithian item. That's my point.
No, that's right.
Because otherwise we'd go,
Well,
it's the book.
I think we all decided that the
Right.
sword was out, so that takes us down to 4, right?
Yep.
And I
Because
think
the curse of the sword was the person who uses it is forgotten.
Yeah.
well, actually, that could be
Yeah.
the perfect weapon to give him because.
He can still become a god even if
Yeah.
he's forgotten.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was the point you made last time.
Because is it then he just becomes a nameless god essentially?
Oh no, he can have a different name.
Just nobody knows
Once you
about
become a god, you can choose your own name.
Because you're a god.
Yeah.
So, sword out.
So-
So that gives us
Yeah.
4. We were iffy on both the religious text and the Rosetta Stone because we figured the unknown religion would attract too much attention from the gods, and we don't want to attract attention from the gods anyway, because we're not even supposed to know that they're fighting. And
Well,
once they find out,
To add to that one, the religious texts are from a religion that was erased.
yes,
So it's considered a cursed topic.
yeah. So
Yeah.
there's kind of a reason that they were removed. I remember you guys were
Yeah.
debating
I
that.
will just
Nithyan's
to
got
remind
great
you
history.
here
Mm-hmm.
that you might want to be careful about what you're discussing in front of that,
Yeah.
Unless
But
you want to tell him.
on that basis, are we happy to rule out the religious texts?
Yes.
Okay. So then that brings us to the Rosetta Stone, the Hourglass, and the Crook and the Flail.
Yep.
Now we were also looking at the Masters like taking a lot of life, and one of the debates that we were having about the Crook and the Flail was that one was entropy and one was life, and I think it was either Paul or Jeremy who pointed out that pharaohs were seen as a source of life, and so these implements might actually help us restore some of what the Masters taken.
If they have to be used together, like
That
Life-
represents that balance.
life is like it's the balance of it rather than the
Yeah.
taking away of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So if he ends up getting it, he would be forever cursed to continue adding versus just destroying.
Yeah.
Well, if that's how things work, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. I don't know.
And with the Crook and Flail being the symbol of rulership that has been lost.
Yeah.
And that
that may be a
title
reason to keep it away
of
from
having
me.
to be responsible
Exactly.
for the well-being of people as much as
Yeah.
not. So
But and then it's also a thing of we want to perhaps keep it away from him because like what Martin just said, it is the symbol of
It's a symbol of
rulership,
and as someone aiming at being a god, that would give him power
exactly.
just by existing.
That could maybe be one thing he would actually be after.
Yeah.
So
I think
maybe
we
that would
kind
be
of
what we take.
Yeah.
Well-
I am thinking very seriously about contacting Redrin and or Raphael.
can we do that
There's-
in this room?
I don't know.
Well, you'd also expect that multiple choice plays a bigger thing here than the gods.
So
I'm
I wasn't
leaning
gonna-
towards the Hourglass
Yeah,
or the Crook and Flail.
I wasn't going to ask for choice. I was
Mm.
going to ask for more information so we can make an actual informed choice.
Yeah.
Because what we've got at the moment is not far off a blind choice.
And neither of those
And that's-
would know these artifacts.
they've been hidden away.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both fucking recent, aren't they?
Yeah.
All the artifacts are more recent than Red Dragon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They're both.
And Raphael's
Raphael's hidden
is
himself away.
potentially
Yeah.
old enough to be related to some of the artifacts, but not all of them.
Yeah.
There's a good chance the Rosetta Stone predates Raphael.
I'm kind of leaning towards the Crook and Flail. How are you guys feeling?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards
I
there.
like that. Yeah.
With my second choice being the Hourglass.
Yeah.
Because like I definitely see the potential for the Hourglass, but I also see
Yeah.
like that one I feel like is very chaotic and can go wrong very simply.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that stops me from Hourglass. That's the thing is like how do we handle these items? Whatever item we choose, how do we handle it so that we
Because
don't?
you can't hide them in portable holes.
Yeah.
No,
No.
but we can hide them in a cloth sack.
I was going to say we can hide them,
Mm-hmm.
and the other advantage is that we can divide them possibly one to one party member, one to another, which means that the person who wants to get ownership of them will have to chase down two different people.
Also potentially useful. Yes.
So that could be another failsafe against them being
Yeah.
reacquired.
But that's the question: is do the individual powers of the Crook and the Flail work even when they're not together?
We can do research after we take
Most
them,
artifacts will have power, even if
Yeah.
it's only a piece of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we wouldn't
but
be
not
using
as
the powers
powerful.
Yeah.
because Well, what do we know anything about what the curse is on those? Or is it just you are now cursed to actually be the Pharaoh?
Well, no, you're cursed to look after
I
the
know
Yeah.
the Queen of Darkness gave us...
To actually be a king.
to care about their welfare, whether you previously did or not.
Yeah.
The Queen of Darkness gave me a bunch of information based
She
on
did.
a 20 that I rolled. Don't know where you got that information that you told me from, that we could review it. Oh, okay. So I'd have to go back to the video.
I'm remembering parts of it, but not all of it, because it was a while ago.
Do you happen to remember anything about the Crook and the Flail?
The Crook and the Flail was that the person who wielded it was required to be responsible for the well-being of the people beneath them.
Right.
And it was dependent on the sort of person, the well-being has a different connotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the specifics of it would not be known until you actually were stuck with it.
Okay. Alright.
There'd be no research in any of this because those items themselves would have been created for Nithia
Yeah.
and then lost.
Yeah,
The details of it have been erased.
Like, way gone. Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons that from Dracula's perspective, he'd be perfectly happy to take ownership or accept the responsibility of welfare of his people, but
It's the
these
wrong
particular items are
item.
specifically representative of one of the reasons these people have a cultural taboo.
Yeah. And the sword, the hourglass, and the translation stone are the only items that aren't Nithian. So the other two are
Yeah.
Nithian. And Drazzle does pipe up saying that you've been offered one item from this vault. You may not actually seal the vault.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We have to leave the others behind.
No,
and
he says you might not see all the vault.
So there might be other
there
items
might
in
be
here
other things here now, not just these 5.
that the master could come here and find for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you know how to see the rest of the vault, if there is any more of it?
Since you've got the key.
I do have a key.
Mezzakine's stuff, I suspect.
So this is where I do actually. This is where I'd actually have to talk to Mezakine to ask him if this is the right
You
place
were
to
going to
use
talk
it.
to Mezzakine.
Mazakine would not tell you that. That's
No,
the-
true, because
that's
it's
the-
actually part of the actually attuning to it properly as a test.
And
Okay.
if you feel like it's the right spot, then you get rewarded. And it's more about your personal belief than it is about the facts.
Well, I was thinking this was the right spot for it anyway.
I have a feeling with Drazzle
What?
saying that it's a key.
Yeah. Oh, I know that's the key, but he's just reminded me that
It
the
was said
access
last
to the rest of the
Mm.
vault is not necessarily all in this room, and so
and
would
you'd
it
expect these to be the lesser items.
that? Oh, yeah. True. Okay, that makes my brain hurt a bit. Anyway, so
That
Drazzle.
makes your brain hurt.
Seeing the two of us are carrying Mazzakine's staff, do we put both my sword and your staff in the staff mount on the throne?
No. Quite useful.
Pardon?
Quite useful.
He gave you a direct answer for once.
Yeah.
And he looks at you expectantly.
So could I have the
Perhaps a better
staff?
option would be to break the key so therefore no one can get further into the vault.
The problem is the key at this point, Mazzakine's staff is a key to another dimension. Always has been. Whether it's one we can use generally, which would be nice.
He responds with, staff has a purpose. He hands it to you.
Thank you.
And then he gets his book out and starts looking at you expectantly.
He's like, blow it up. Do it.
Well, okay. Take into account when I got this thing,
Yeah.
when I did some research on it, one of the things I found was when you actually apply it to the correct place for it to activate properly, if you don't put it in the right place, you die.
That's why he got his book out.
Yeah, so he's going to take notes on whether I die or not.
Alright, cool, don't
Or
die.
how many times he dies.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
Totally.
We've got a time thing in the fucking room, don't we?
Yes, we do.
You'll put it on, instant repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. We are technically within a different dimension.
Not yet.
No.
That's
Not yet.
what this
is
is the
what
key
it's going to
for.
open.
You
Okay.
had stepped
Yes.
into another dimension when you fought the hero.
Yes, but then we came back. So now we're
which
back.
means that this
back in the
point does
tomb.
have dimensions attached to it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's hard to think about.
Right. Stand on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Insert stuff into mount.
Okay, there's no mount for the staff, but there is one for the sword.
I
In the
thought
back
you
of
said,
the-
I thought you said there was a staff mount in the back of the.
I know there was a sword mount in the back. It looked like there was a bit where you could stick the sword into the seat.
Like a
There's
Like
a
a
place
skeleton
stuff
you would hold.
Yep. I understand that, but I thought there was a place to put a staff as well.
I had the feeling there was actually in the hardware shop, there was a place for the flail and the like the two Nithian items.
You could have put the Nithian items on the throne, yes, in the two spots, but they were something
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but I've got a staff and a sword, and the description that I remember of the throne was that it had a slot to put a staff in, and obviously that's a misremembering.
It resembled the hilt of your sword.
I
That
think,
was the one.
I think
Right.
what he made yeah,
'Cause the
and
hilt of my
also
sword-
said
the hilt
to
of my
put the
sword is
staff
a bit-
of Mazikeen.
Yeah, the hilt of my sword is a bit staff-like
Yes.
because it's straight, ish. So it's the sword. I should be holding the staff though as well.
Because it connects.
So yes,
Put the sword
because this
in
is
the
a single
staff.
item now, except this has also got a moon sword in it.
And the staff has something else in it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what that is yet.
He's never told you.
No, and he probably won't for a while.
Okay, so you put
So-
the sword in,
Yes.
and as the sword clicks into place, give me a. I'll make it a charisma saving throw.
Do you want food?
Good. That's why I'm
Would
good.
like some food.
Yeah.
Meal,
It's not huge.
It's okay.
Come on, change windows, you stupid thing. Right.
Quick question. Would you like what's left of your salad and the really small portion?
How about just the salad?
Just a salad.
Right. I do have an advantage on charisma saving throws though. That's what I was trying to check. Is that good? Yeah, I'll go with the first one.
What was it?
Well, the second one was a 1.
So
What
that's
was
a
it in total?
Oh, now total on the first one. Brain hurt 11.
11. Okay, so as you
If it's too
look
far
at
gone, let me know.
as you're looking at the staff, you see your veins start to go red from the staff as it goes up your body. It hurts. Feels like someone set you on fire
Ow.
Ow.
from the inside.
Even more ow.
I was like, Ariana, any personal experience?
Yeah, yeah.
So, just
Veins,
red veins.
nerves.
Oh man.
And then you sort of see Luell's
Crack,
face start
crack,
to
it'll
rise,
find,
and
If you like, I
What was
can
that,
do a
Jeremy?
demonstration.
Okay,
Curl up on
do
the
a
floor,
try and
feed a
step
ball,
forward and
just
wrench
start
his arm
sobbing.
off the staff. I'm assuming it'll be too slow.
I've seen
so-
that.
okay. Drachnemy, give me a charisma saving throw.
It's really hard on him when my parents start working next and you have to see it almost every day.
Yeah, well, I didn't do as well as Paul. I got 10.
Wow.
Okay, so you see Drachnamir step forward and grab the staff, and the same thing start
No,
happening to
no,
Drachnamir.
Can
I was going to the staff. I've got his arm because his staff was in the
Of
cloak.
course.
No,
His arm.
his sword is in the throne. He's holding the staff.
Yep.
Pause.
Yep.
I believe Luck of Chaos works on any die roll on the table. Can I get you to quickly check it? And if it does, can I allow Jeremy to re-roll? Do you want me to find you where Luck of Chaos sits?
I know where it is and stuff.
So basically, from what Jack Dimmer saw then,
Level up.
Clue
My
sat down on the
first set of
floor,
dice. I
the
spent
staff was always
$150.
held,
Yeah. Oh, level up.
and was suddenly going red. Is that right?
He's so as he's put the hilt in the throne, and he's
Yep.
holding the staff given to him by Drazzle, which is Drazzle's staff, and you see
Yep.
his veins start to go red and up his arm from his hand holding the staff.
That's such a good visualization. Except it's not Valiant's just
Okay.
moves.
Yeah.
And no, you
I'll
can't
go
put
to
it on
the
someone
staff. That's fine.
Ah, damn. Okay.
So you happy to grab the staff?
Yep. If the staff was not something you could normally hold it, then I will try and separate it from the staff. So yeah, all good.
So yes, Drachnamir has the same things that happen to him,
Where is it?
except it is instead of being red going up his arm, it's green.
Oh.
Hmm.
Okay. So it doesn't
And each
specify
site check
that,
will
but I
probably
go
remind
there.
you that Lull, I suspect, is a fire-based,
Other people that specify.
Yeah.
whereas Jack Dimmer is earth-based.
It should specify both ways.
Yeah, so I'm guessing if Lonnie was to touch it, it would go blue.
Hopeful. My other one was whether or not the table
Interesting.
had a reroll.
Okay.
Maybe it's like the Guardians of the Galaxy side grab hold of the Infinity Stone. See, if everyone's
You
together,
need to. Everyone
share
holds it
spread alone.
together. All right. Well, does that mean upon
I'm
seeing?
not suggesting everyone grab.
I was going to say upon seeing Drachnamir grab it and fail, Calcrix will grab it.
Okay, Christmas saving throw.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Please be nice to me today. See, look, I got squishy.
Hey, you don't know if failure or success is what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's 15 plus charisma saving throw. If it's not under skills, I don't add anything to it? Or do I just add my +5 or
There's a
charisma?
section for saving throws.
Okay. Oh yeah, strength and
The range of
intelligence.
charisma modifier.
So
and possibly
it's just a
just
+5,
charisma.
so it's an unnatural 20.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Just gotta check my food.
Okay, does Calcrix see herself aligned more with air or darkness right
Air
now?
or water?
Darkness.
Oh, darkness. Now that's a question now, isn't it?
Are you willing to go more black?
She has been communicating with the Queen of Darkness a lot more often. So I would probably say, based on recent experience, right now she's probably a little bit more on the dark side.
So black up your
He
arm.
likes the
Pun
cookies.
not intended, but absolutely in it for the cookies.
So as Calcrix watches, she sees the scales start to darken. As you see the room around you start to darken.
Is she going to have to swim in the waters of Mandalore in order to get her white scales back?
Possibly. Which
Yeah.
means you got quite a far way to go because that's a different universe.
Yeah, but you know, she's a dragon and there are space dragons, so, you know.
So yes,
There are
Goals.
also, yeah, there are also
Lonnie,
other
you've
dragons.
seen the other others grabbing the staff.
Are you going to Guardians of the Galaxy of it with it? Do we get to have a dance off at the end of this?
I mean, we
Please
totally
say we do.
can.
Possibly.
We can.
Yeah.
One of the proficiencies that I'm picking up on downtimes is dancing.
And Calcrix has jazz wings, so, you know.
So what's my wisdom of these?
Martin worked in a very unique jazz wings modifier to her things. Although I don't think it's on the sheet, actually.
I'm understanding the expression on their faces is extreme pain. It's
I was gonna say-
really burning.
Yeah.
It is a burning
Oh,
sensation to everyone but Calcrix at
Yeah.
this stage.
Okay.
Calcrix made the save.
Yeah. I will.
No, I don't have my jazz wings on here anymore.
Yes, I use my Jedi power resist pain.
I'm gonna. I'll go for
I
it.
want that power.
I will.
I know.
I guess like, just, I guess, go ahead and try to grab on, while also grabbing onto, like, one of my friends around me
Yes.
who I see are in pain, so either Lull or Dracula. Can I do the purple one?
You can roll
Yes.
a purple one.
Oh, no, sorry.
I'm also.
I shouldn't have said yes for your
him up.
dice. I thought she was talking about different dice.
What's that,
I'm
Jeremy?
also shooting him up, but having failed the saving throw, Dracula is effectively grasping the staff, but he's not going to be effectively trying to pull it away. Like obviously he's enjoying pain.
That is correct, yes.
Yep, happy that.
So I'll go ahead and grab on, and then whichever one is closest to me, just in case they fall backwards, I guess. But I will try to hold on to them.
What was
Abby.
the roll?
I got a 15.
Oh,
15, okay.
you might
Does
make it.
Lani see yourself aligned more with lightning or with cold?
Thunder, lightning.
Because most
I
of
think
your-
maybe more like cold. So even though it's like she uses lightning a lot, I think in terms of like her fighting skill, she's very brutal and cold, I would say.
Because cold is basically the
What? Yeah.
water.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember where I saw it.
Because
Facebook.
yeah.
I've seen it.
I think
it 3
she's
times
very-
in the past about 2 years.
Yeah.
I would think she's very joyful and playful in every aspect of her life, other than fighting. That's the one thing she takes very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go with that. So go cold.
Okay. So yes, you see the blue veins start going up your arm, feeling extremely painful at the same time.
So you're in pain and you look cool.
Hee
Ice water running through their veins. Like
Yes.
And I'd probably say it would be Nuri would be also grabbing at this stage.
Yep.
Should we do a roll for her?
We'll just say that I'll do it
Yep.
in my head and say what the result is.
Yep.
So
You'll do it in your head, huh?
Yeah.
that random dice roller in your head.
works well for me.
And it's that.
I love it.
Okay, so and you see her having white veins start going up, the same sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does Calvrix realise the other four are in trouble?
Well, sees them in pain.
Okay.
Yeah.
She.
And 2 of them making noise, presumably making noises of being in pain,
Mm-hmm.
not just going, "Ow, this hurts."
Ouch, Charlie.
Can she tell from holding onto the staff whether or not it's wise to get them all to let go? Is that an insight roll?
You could try making an insight roll.
Yes, please. 18. Is that a saving throw or a skilled throw?
That's a skill.
So that's wisdom. So that's +3. So that's 21, I think. It's just plus the.
Do you have the skill?
Yes, it's skill
Then
and
you
proficiency.
add proficiency plus your attribute.
Okay, where? How do?
Proficiency is +4.
Oh, it's +4. Okay, so that makes it.
Yeah.
20. So +7 to 18 is 25.
25. Okay, so.
Keep blowing on my dice.
Well, you think there's something significant with the fact that the 5 elements are present.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's more likely part of the lock, and if one of them is missing, then he would most likely fail.
Can I
Yeah.
tell which one's
And
missing?
We have all 5.
if you break it now, it probably will take the key with it.
Okay, so
We have to
It's
hold
best
on.
to continue holding on.
trying to hold on. Okay. I will do my best to like wings around and hold everyone up and try and keep them all
Moral
holding onto
support.
the staff. Yeah, so I'll use my wings
I
kind of
am
like
Groot.
a
Yeah.
yeah. Well, not
I'm
just
kind of assuming that in the case for Dracula and probably Lull, it's effectively like electrification. We couldn't release our hand if we wanted to.
yeah.
Well, I'm not going to let go because, well, I've got to hold on to the thing. I was sort of
But that's,
thinking of,
no, my interpretation or thought was, the muscles are contracted that we wouldn't be able to release.
not with fire, that would be electricity.
No, the electrical type effect is what I'm saying. Like, the same effect on the muscles, not actually called electricity, obviously.
And if that means she has to go like all black to do that, she'll do
But
what it
otherwise,
takes to keep.
Dracula would let it
No,
go.
restoration.
We'll see.
Yes.
Depends on what the GM says.
Sorry, I was just trying to listen to everyone at the same
Sorry.
time. Okay.
Yeah.
So, next thing you know is you each seem to be standing in a room holding a staff by yourself. You can hear the others.
Right.
And it seems to be a vaulted room that you can't see the ceiling or the edges.
Okay. So, what's around the place?
Well, Lull looks around. He sees many shapes, vague and indistinct,
Mm-hmm.
making you think you're in a god's treasure vault.
Okay. Because, well, we are.
Before it was just a mortal treasure vault.
Yes.
It's the god's treasure hole.
Yes.
How does that differ, just out of curiosity?
Meaning that
Bigger and more impressive.
a god's treasure vault would probably allow artifacts to be hidden away from the easy to reach stuff. And you think you're slightly out of sync with the rest of the world.
Mm.
You can hear the others.
Yeah.
Can't see them but hear them? Yeah, okay.
Right. Move around a bit.
Okay, you seem to move without moving.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely God's treasure vault stuff.
And looking around you, you see everything here feels very indistinct or vague, and even while trying to touch it.
Yeah.
You're not exactly sure what's going on. Give me an insight roll.
Reasonable.
So I get my food. Do you want anything else?
I wouldn't mind Soda Stream.
So just one.
24.
Okay. You think that the items here are only distinct when you know what you're looking for.
Quite a reasonable defense
They
mechanism.
don't actually have to know the exact name of the item. They don't
Just
have to know
what it is.
who it belongs to. You just have to have some vague idea of what it is you're looking for. What is it Lull's looking for? Realizing that you're in the sphere of energy's treasure vault.
The sphere of
Possibly you can think
treasure?
about what is it the master's looking for.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking, whether I would go for, am I after what the master would be wanting to find, or am I going to concentrate on what we need to fight the master? I'm going to go for the former for my concentration.
What you need to fight the master. Okay.
Well, no, what we need to keep away from the master.
What's the master?
The second one was what we
Well,
need
you
to
don't
fight
think the
the
master can defeat you.
That's a good point. What we
So
need
if
to-
you
okay,
take
so-
what the master's looking for out of here, the master can reach.
Yes, so let's go for what we need to fight the master.
That's why I would point out with your insight
Yes.
roll for choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So only one choice.
Okay, so you're thinking about what you need to fight the master. Okay, you have the concept that it could be a weapon, it could be a concept, or it could be a person. Which one is more of interest to you?
I can think of advantages and disadvantages to all of them.
They all have advantages and disadvantages,
Yes.
but what does Lull seek more? A physical weapon, a belief, or a person?
It sucks because all of them are the right choice and all of them are the wrong choice all at the same time.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's how Martin does stuff.
Exactly, it's great.
I'm going to go for the belief, the concept.
Concept of belief. Okay. You find a seed in your hand.
The life tree seed.
It does appear to be a seed of a world tree.
The world tree
Now
seed.
That pretty well blows Lull's mind away.
And now all we're going to do is go back to the beginning of the multiverse and plant them.
We've got the time thing.
Okay, so with Lull having his mind go, we'll move over to Jeremy. You find yourself in.
someone with a steady hand.
Yep. You find yourself in the sphere of matter and treasure vault. So for you, everything is shades of green here. You also get the concept that everything here is vague and indistinct until you choose something specific that will give you options. And you do know that Lull chose for him a concept of something to help him beat the master with a belief.
Well, Dracula doesn't need a belief. He's got a tutor to believe it, so that's fine. He will call upon Atruaghin guidance as he's thinking towards a person or people.
Okay. Lull finds himself talking to.
Dractomir. Oh, sorry. Or is it
sorry,
me?
not Lull. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dractomir finds himself talking to the destruction of multiple people.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Multiple people in different states of time does make it interesting. So Dractomir sees what appears to be an angel and ancestral spirit at the same time. So is a angel done up as a tribesman.
Okay?
And he tells Dractomir his name, which you can then call upon.
Okay?
But you can only call upon him once a month.
Come on. Cool.
Which renews every time the full moon happens. Feel free to come up with the name of this ancestral angel.
You can literally say you've got an angel by your side.
Probably should.
Wait, when he calls the angel, can you do the whole angels in the outfit thing?
I wonder if angels
Or
do
no, which is angels.
jazz wings
Oh,
as well.
there you go. Yes.
Oh no. Ramstein's Engel.
Okay, so now we move on to Lani. You've heard the other two make their choices of what they want to find. What does Lani want to find in the Vault of Time?
Obviously, the best.
She's a weapons master. She's more drawn towards weapons. She heard Lull chose a concept. Dracula chose a person. Which makes sense for each of those characters. So I think Lani will go for... I don't know about a weapon or an item. That's like what I'm trying to differentiate.
What is it? What does she seek? Does she seek something to defeat the master?
Yeah. It would be something to... a weapon to end the master is what she's looking for. Is that as specific as I can get? I think probably. So like a weapon that will end the master for the level of power that he has.
So what you're looking is something capable of slaying a god.
The God Slayer. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. The gods keep them lying around all the place.
So, if it's that, it's that. Lonnie will go for that, yeah. Kessler doesn't like this option, but that's what Lonnie would go for.
Hey, if it can't,
And you get given a stick of mistletoe.
Mm-hmm.
if it can't kill the god, then it can't kill the master.
Well,
True, because
technically,
that's what...
That's what happens when you get to that level of power.
love can be the downfall of a god.
Yeah, we'll go with... Yeah, Godslayer weapon of some kind.
Okay. I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, no
That
worries.
one will take some thought.
It'll take time.
It will. Which then brings us to Calcrix.
So there were 3 options, I think you said.
So, no, that was specifically for Lull.
Okay, yep.
Because Lull was looking for something to defeat the master.
So
what would Calcrix be looking for in the Vault of Entropy?
considering the master seems to be about destroying so much in his capacity for greatness, her goal would be, she's very much about connections and people. She's always been about protecting. Like one of her key character points is that she sees everybody a bit like her children, particularly the party, but she also transfers that to other people. So she very much wants to protect people. So she would be after a way to protect not just her own party because they're taking on the master, but to try and protect the people that the master is trying to destroy. So yeah, she'd be looking for a way to protect them, whether that's like in the cycle of entropy, a new beginning, or I don't think she sees that as a weapon. Does that make sense? You know, she's not. She'll fight when she has to, but she's more about protecting people and
More
putting
about
her own
maybe
self in harm's way.
not necessarily like the physical idea of a shield, but a shield concept. Maybe.
And as you think that, you do find yourself presented with a shield in the shape of a dragon scale, with the symbol of a platinum dragon on the outside of it.
Oh, okay.
And understanding that this is dedicated to a dead god.
I see. Yep.
One of the fallen
That actually
gods.
makes sense.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. She's learned a bit about fallen gods and dragon gods. Okay. Yep. That's
And it has the ability to call upon the dead god.
okay. She'll be saving that for when it's absolutely needed.
Well, the belief of the god disappeared when the god died.
Yeah.
And that's how you kill the god, is you have to kill their belief as well.
Yes.
Which is currently what the Wrath of the Immortals is about, is killing the belief of one of the gods specifically. And that requires the elimination of everything you guys know.
Yes.
And does Neri
I'm gonna say
get something in the background?
She's in the
Mary will have gotten something in the background,
Mhm.
which I will also write up. So let's see, we have Lull with belief has a seed of the tree of life. I believe I'm going to use this. Drachnomir with people
Lonnie,
has the name of an angel trouble. Lonnie with weapon has something to kill a god.
Could end up being that black sword.
And Calcrix, what do we just give Calcrix?
Shield.
shield
Platinum dragon.
Yeah.
Dead god. in the shape of a dragon scale. And it's spelled Shieldmore. The editor in me is crying with disappointment.
I'm pretty sure I spell it wrong like 50% of the time, and so I just give up.
Well, the rule I before E doesn't work.
Yeah, because it only works
Well,
for only
it's-
like 40 English words, and there's so many other words
Yeah.
for they're together.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a general rule.
Yeah,
The English language sucks.
it does.
Yeah.
It's
On
only
the other
good
hand,
for
on-
little kids learning the
Yeah.
simple words.
Yeah. On the other hand, if you remember shield as shield, it becomes very easy to spell.
In which case I spelled it wrong, thought I spelled it correctly, thought I spelled it wrong, and have just miscorrected it.
That's me all the time. So we're thinking that we'll say no receives something
Let's just.
indiscriminate at the time, but does receive something, or are we?
She will receive
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
But it will be related to the sphere of thought, which means it's most likely
More concept.
more conceptual.
Yeah.
Which would suit her.
Whereas Lull with the seed of the tree of, tree of the world tree.
Mm-hmm.
Would have if I wrote the right one down. The world tree is completely different to the tree of life.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that it does give Lull potential access to the master's domain.
Oh. So it's not okay. So that's a
Interesting.
wild tree. You said
The world tree.
wild tree.
So it also gives you access to the planes. The world tree literally is connected to the thing, and every sprout that grows from a seedling is basically considered a root of the tree of life.
Why
The
do I
world tree.
feel like this is very similar to that Star Trek episode we watched where they're talking about the fungi creating a network through which that they can
Yes.
transverse planes and
I'm sure
stuff.
they read D&D when they created most of that.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, it's half the time we come up with these concepts, I'm like, they're just crossed over through everywhere.
Yeah.
Very common.
Yeah. It's
All fantasy and sci-fi
Yeah.
for sure.
actually I think with the rhizome thing they actually looked at actual fungus
Mm.
Because
and
that's
the
what they
internet.
do.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
similar.
So yeah,
Mushrooms are
There's-
underrated.
So,
my old using for a lot of
is the rule that we
The largest
understood?
living organism on Earth is fungi.
mushroom level.
That's cool.
Sorry. So is the rule that we understood that we are only allowed to take one item from here, or we get one item each?
They didn't explain it.
I think it's one item each, because that's the true
That's what we're
essence
getting.
of balance.
Yeah. That's
Very true. Very
correct
true.
one.
And maybe that's the
Triumph.
thing that helps us defeat the master is we use balance to.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll
We
be
outbalance it.
the downfall I suspect of the master, and I could be wrong, but my theory is that he's going to go to the extreme end, and the best way to bring him down is to put things back into balance. I'm guessing, because that seems to be the whole theme
So
of
who is our
everything.
Captain Planet?
Yeah, pretty much.
It makes sense though. Like,
Well, considering how
yeah.
it's a group of people that form Captain Planet,
Mm.
so the party is
We
Captain
are the
Planet.
Voltron of D&D.
Yeah. Alright, we got this.
And you would have expected Tullicus would have taken the air part if he had survived.
Exactly.
But his sacrifice is what actually allowed you to survive.
Let us get through. Yeah.
So once we've got these things, what happens?
Well, you now find yourself standing in the chamber, and the staff is gone, and you see Drazzle's now holding it again.
Okay. Is there any remnants left of Tullicus?
No.
Calcrix wants to spend just a few minutes going through her pack, and she's going to take out one of her original sapphire gems, and she's going to take out a gold coin, and she's going to take out, she's probably got some bone dice or some dice. She wants to take out a dice. She's going to put those together, and she's going to put that in as a little offering in memory of Tullicus, the gem for his...
I
Sorry?
can do an actual ceremony ritual.
Yes. Well, in that case,
I'll make that as part of it.
yeah.
But-
Calcrix will offer
Yeah.
this to you to make a little bit of ceremony so that
Yeah.
we can formally say goodbye to our friend who sacrificed himself. Did anyone else want to contribute to the offering to
Yeah.
Autolycus?
Yep, and part
Can you squeeze
of
through?
and part of the ceremony actually involves we actually get something out of it.
She's happy to just honour her friend because
Oh, yeah.
she's really sad she lost him.
I was gonna say, in that, with Autolycus being a fellow sailor, Lonnie will take some of her rope, tie
Oh yeah.
an intricate
Yep.
sailor knot, and offer it
Nice.
in remembrance of him and their, I guess, the way that her and Autolycus had their own relationship with,
Yeah.
with that kind of stuff. So, do it that way.
I'm wondering whether or not we should add my jug of everlasting water so that he's always got water
No.
with which to sail.
No.
But I
He's-
think the knot's going to be enough.
He is
Yeah,
now
he's not
within
a sailor
the.
as such.
No,
That's the
no, he
thing.
wasn't.
He was, yeah, he
Yeah.
was more.
He's more of a rogue.
more rogue, went along with what he had to.
Yeah.
Runaway soldier
Yeah.
was a sailing kind of thing, so it wasn't. Not like Lonnie, where that's where she got
Came from,
her
yeah.
skill. It was that's how he
Yeah.
Makes sense.
got by.
Yeah, I'm actually not going to do the ritual as an actual ritual because we don't need the magical effects from this.
No, no.
The other thing is 25 GP is silver powder.
I don't mind putting
It's,
in
no,
that.
I know it's having to have it on hand, but the normal use for this in a case like this is the funeral rite. There's no body to avoid having turned into an undead, so we don't need
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do sort of a generic written. Well, actually,
Does
Drachnemy should be the
I
one
was going to say, does
to do
Drachnema?
a religious ceremony at this point because that's his job.
I was going to say, does Drachnema feel compelled to join in?
Well, it's the sort of thing
Always
that Dracula, he's certainly happy to say a few words, but Autolycus wasn't a Atruaghin, and therefore would not be trying to go to the happy hunting grounds of the Atruaghin ever
Yeah.
after.
He might be happier
And-
there than where he is now.
We're also already inside effectively the tomb under which
Yeah.
those ceremonies and rituals would have already occurred before we got to this point.
Yes.
This, as far as Calcrix's reason for doing it is, she wants like that closure of a funeral. She wants to pay respects to a friend who sacrificed his life on her behalf. So for her, she's not necessarily religiously compelled. She's more emotionally, sentimentally compelled. Whether or not you'd be happy to provide that ceremony in terms of the rest of the party bidding goodbye.
Dracula's certainly happy to lead the party in expressing their grief and allowing it to move on.
Yeah. Yep. So, Lani was going to do an intricate knot for a piece of rope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what does this ceremony usually involve?
I would think
Well,
it can be
it's-
whatever you want if we're not doing like a full-on religious ceremony.
Yeah,
kind of
it's
thing.
entirely culturally based. And if we get, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be very generic.
And if Drazzle does it, it's all about what he would have done if he had lived.
Does Drazzle have
That would be interesting.
anything he wants to offer as a part of the ceremony?
Well, he offers potential futures.
Awesome. Alright, are we ready to leave then?
I think so.
Yes.
Do we know how to get out?
way we came.
I get my sword back. Just making sure of that one.
As you pull your sword out, you hear the door start going up.
Run.
Get moving. Be on the other side of that door before it comes back down again.
Sorry.
Okay.
Reminder that it's
I've
8:30.
got to take mid.
Hmm.
It's the one I have to take like 3 hours before I actually want to take it.
Yeah.
Because it takes that long to work on.
Okay. So the doors are open. I guess we will head out. I think stay together. Just go through one door, not the two. How we came in.
Yeah, no, let's just go out the one. Yes.
Do we all make it to the door in time?
You do make it to the door in time because the door doesn't start coming down.
Oh, good. I do not want to be trapped in here for a long, long time.
Ever. Yeah.
And like we leave the room, no problems.
No problems leaving the room.
Then I guess I'm only gonna guess that like Draken and Lonnie would want to lead our way out just to be aware of any dangers ahead,
Yes.
just in case.
Do Dracula and Holy Claw or anyone else actually have are we suffering any ill effects from the failing the critical saving throw?
No, it was basically you had lots of pain. If
Right.
you made the success, there was no pain.
Right.
Okay.
How black am I, just out of curiosity?
I would think you maybe have now.
Currently,
black
you're more black than white.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
You're black with white highlights.
Right.
Whereas Llewellyn's veins show up stark red.
Does anyone point that out? Because I'm guessing she doesn't know. When she comes out of the tomb, do Grinda waffle and eat? Like,
Well, Calcrix would have seen it from the hand that she was holding.
oh, okay.
Because it came from there.
Okay. She's a little bit worried.
But hey, it's not a bad thing.
She might talk to her dragon god tonight.
You can hide in shadow more easily now.
That's true, but I think as much as she doesn't, she's not as, I think for her she's still young enough where she's not really sure she wants to be black. She kind of doesn't necessarily want to lose her identity. But at the same time, she's been exploring the idea of, she's got air and water, and I think that's the white and the black.
No, air and dark.
Air and darkness, and she's thinking about getting the other three elements, kind of getting herself lined up with those, and maybe eventually being a multicolored dragon in that sense.
The rainbow dragon.
Kind of.
You could also go multi-aspect as well.
Yeah,
That can be done.
this is just one of the things that she's got to decide on. So
Yeah.
she's very unsure of this current change.
Okay, so you make it out through the front of the tomb. The guardians seem to have gone back to sleep.
Cool.
You think
make
you
sure
might,
the archaeologists and so on are still with us.
as you strut.
Yes.
And you also note that you probably wouldn't have made it out if you had chosen one of the other riders.
Because these ones are ones that the guardians are not actually protecting. Because they don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
They're locked away from the rest of the world, and you'd think that whichever world you go to is the same world.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is
It's
the vault
yeah.
that is opened by Nazis.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yes. Whether I can access it somewhere else is a different question.
And you think that it's basically just a equivalent of shifting to another dimension.
Yep.
But like all things, it's about balance. So if you seek power, then it generally just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Which is where you think that the
could open it in the right spot was all about. It wasn't the right spot physically.
You have to be doing the right thing as well as having friends with you. Because you have to do it as a team, not a person leading a group of flunkies.
Well, that's what balance is about.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why you think the master would never have access to that stuff.
Yeah.
Not without someone intervening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even then, I think it would be someone working for him would get in, get whatever it is, and then get back out and hand it to him. He wouldn't be able to get in himself.
You probably wouldn't be able to have flunkies do that.
Yeah.
I think just being a flunky and going in there as a flunky would immediately
Well, it's
stop you from
Well, you're unbalanced at that point.
yeah.
So it would fail.
And they'd be unlikely to have Mazakin's key.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit hard to find.
There are a few others floating around, which you know the archaeologists as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay, so as you step out of the tomb into the sunlight, you see the effects of the staff start to fade.
In what's
The
it?
colours
Oh,
of
the veins and things. Yep.
Do your scales change back?
Mm-hmm.
That's
So I go back to being mostly white. Okay.
So all temporary.
Well, the sun has a way of clearing away curses and magic and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, when you think about it, her identity is associated to where she introduces herself. She's the white dragon
Yeah,
Yes.
with the jazz wings.
exactly.
She doesn't mind having the black scales. She doesn't mind having other scales, but
Yeah.
she still considers herself the white dragon.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
what,
Like that's her
black is not your
identity.
identity?
Yeah.
You're not a goth. At least not that type of goth.
No, not that type of goth.
Pastel.
I do know a couple of goths who wear pastel.
Exactly.
I've met a goth who
And
dresses
pastel
anti-goth,
docs.
and
Yes.
seeing her all in pink after seeing her all in black,
It's fine.
it's amazing. She looks amazing both ways, but
Yeah.
my brain just like, when you see her as one,
like, well-
you could never imagine seeing her dressed as the other.
Yes.
So as
Does
we
it work?
walk out of
But
the
all in pink. She's
temple.
Not, she's not cute.
Oh yeah,
we're all back
absolutely.
to normal, all
No,
that
she's
kind of
cute.
stuff.
Yeah.
No,
Does
she's adorable. She's
uh
not dressed cute.
I'm gonna take us back to the game.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
We can do that.
As we're walking out of the temple, does the archaeologist say any terms of like anything that she got out of there, or anything that she feels like she wants us to help report on, or anything?
Well, she'd like to record what you had removed,
Yeah.
because she had figured out not to take anything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because she also hadn't challenged.
Yes.
Mm.
It would be very useful to be able to have all that recorded, particularly since Drazel's going to want to know, so we're going to have to tell him anyway.
I
So
suspect
both
since
of
we
you take notes, and we'll tell
Okay.
you what we got.
I was gonna say, probably the first thing that Lonnie would do is like, as soon as she's out, she's like, okay, I'm okay. Hey, Drazel, check out this cool thing that I got. So, and like just shows him so that he could write it, like take a picture or like draw in his
Yes.
book. And
So, what you got is a scarab.
a scarab.
Yep.
A scarab or a gold scarab or what? An
It's a
actual
blue
one.
scarab.
A blue scarab. Cool.
I was gonna say, I dare say we need to probably rest, so we could probably camp for the night,
Yeah.
just outside the tomb, and while we're resting, pass on information and
Well,
discuss what our next steps are. Speaking of which, what are our next steps?
Talk to Redrin.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's the best I got, because it's just like, all right, you did the thing, good job. Now what? So
We
I
need
think
to do
I
the
think
other
it's
thing.
talk. I think it's
Yes.
talk to Redrin now.
Yeah, because we came here on a mission from Rodrin, so there might be other missions that we need
Well,
to do.
this is the thing, is sort of, we've now succeeded the mission.
Yep.
We have the archaeologist. She
Yep.
is here to speak to you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we've got mission success.
Yeah.
We'll start with that, and then we can ask you other questions.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do next?
Well, she says that she would have expected that that room will also be a place you take artifacts you want to remove.
From the playing
the
field,
world.
basically.
So if we were to get something off the master at some point, that might be where we'd stick it.
In
Yes.
the God Vault that's opened by Magic staff, or in the Nithian tomb.
I'd
In the God Vault.
say the gold vault.
That's what I thought. God Vault, yeah. Because
It is literally where the sun don't shine.
Yeah.
No, she says the items that you saw there most likely, while useful, aren't generally expected to be brought out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the tomb will be designed to stop whoever tries to take one of those items from getting out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, that list of items is actually a trap.
Yeah.
We passed the test!
Woohoo!
They're useful.
We did not die.
However,
Each item
Well,
is
not all
exceedingly
of us,
useful
but-
and exceedingly cursed.
Well, the fact that we couldn't really decide on what to take, like we were deadlocked down to a minimum of 2, if not 3,
yeah.
just kind of showed that, you know, that we needed to go another way, and that's when you're like, well, we want more information before we make this
Yes.
decision, and
We definitely
just
do.
that seeking of more information was that step we needed to take to move forward, and
And most people wouldn't know that there is another option,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is how they were designed.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, oh look, here's your choices.
Yeah.
By the way, you can also
Here's
choose
a
this
secret.
instead.
Yeah. By the way, here's a secret room. Yeah. It's like no, we only knew that
Which
because
requires
we
a
were
key you
actually.
don't have.
Yeah, exactly. We only knew it because we actually had the key.
alrighty.
And you expect that the archaeologist key would also reflect.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes. But 2 of not very many.
Okay, so yes, you end up having a very restful night, meaning
Because we've got a tower to sleep in.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Who's time?
Oh, you've got one of those pop-up towers.
Dan's
Yep.
instant tower thing. Which
They're pretty
really
handy,
nicely
they are.
doesn't require a tune.
That is
However,
useful.
I got this, and when I opened it up, when we first discovered it, it had, so I can't remember what the symbol was on it. When I opened it up, it had the symbol of my clan on it.
Oh, yeah.
well, you
just
do
means
think
it's meant
whoever
for you.
opens it gets their symbology on it.
Yeah, well, that would make some sense.
That does help.
So
Doesn't
but,
act, but attunement gives you extra stuff.
Yeah.
With everything.
Yes, if I had an achievement slot, it would be useful doing that. You might have servants inside and food.
Some of them do.
Well, that would be the thing. If I was attuned to it, it probably would. But yeah, there are only so many achievement slots.
But it is a nice, comfortable place to sleep,
Oh, yeah.
considering the desert is very cold.
Yes. Actually, there's the thing. This is the first time I've actually used this since my clan was created. Has it now got my clan symbol on
It does.
it, not the symbol of my birth clan? Right.
And it also has
Cool.
the symbol of your Elfine clan and
Yeah.
your Shadow Elf clan.
I'm going to be a little careful about that.
I mean, most people have never seen the Shadow Elf clan symbol.
Yeah, but someone's going to look at it and go, maybe I could do some research. I've never seen that, and I'm interested.
Alrighty.
Because scholars do that stuff.
They do. And after a comfortable night's sleep, the sun comes up and you feel well rested.
Nice.
Do we chat to Redrin?
We do.
Is that stuff in Dracula's possession?
I don't do that kind of stuff.
No, I had it.
You got Redrin's
I had it
stuff?
last night. but
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Alright, so you get to make the phone call.
Yes. It's a telephone pole.
You could give it to Calcrix. You know, I'm sure Redrian wants to be woken up at the crack of dawn with Calcrix going at 1,000 miles per hour, having just drunk fresh coffee.
That's a really good reason. I've got it.
Yeah.
Yes. So set up in a comfortable seated position. Use the staff and call on Roderick.
Okay, so you manage to get a connection, and you hear Roderick say, "How may I help you, Lull?"
We have your archaeologist. She is. We have retrieved from the vault. We think what we've got is going to be useful. Having now completed your quest for the archaeologist and associated things, what's next?
Well, he recommends returning back to the Knights River Inn, and we can research what you've gathered, so we can figure out how best to use it.
Very good point.
It may take
So-
a while.
Yes. So this is our level 10 downtime, right? Yeah. So off to Darrican we go. Because that's where we're going to end up.
It will only take a few weeks to. I think it was 2 weeks to get to something like that.
Something like that. And they're another one I'm going to get renowned with. Because
You sure we're not going on to Yalara? Is there a nice little bit in Yalara?
There is, but you would end up passing between one of the
I'm happy not to go there, but it's
Yeah.
considered good work.
because if you do think with what you've learned of how your alarm works that neither of you want to actually go to one of the cities again,
no.
Yeah.
as the knowledge you've gained will just be gone, including most likely the items,
Yes.
Yeah.
because they may have Nithian connotations.
Yes.
Yes, we don't want that.
Okay. So, how
So
would
we
you
try-
well see that you could use the a seedling for the tree, the world tree?
I had a couple of thoughts. The planting it in Alfheim would probably give us an anchor that's not actually part of the Elven tree system. However, that has potential issues.
You've just had snacks. I'm guessing you don't want any more.
Maybe.
But you also want to plant it while the trees of life is still there.
Yeah, that's the other thing, because they'll.
It may bridge the gap.
Yeah, that would. Yes, that was the thing. So putting it there with them still there, it would have some issues.
You would expect by the end of this game year that those
Yeah.
trees will no longer be
Yeah. And that was the thing. Waiting until they're gone, and then planting this in Alfie might actually keep Alfie as Alfie.
there. It would probably change it.
Oh, it would change it.
Just it wouldn't be. It wouldn't keep it as Delphine. It would make it something different.
Yeah, but it wouldn't become a desolate waste, which is the possibility if the trees aren't there at all.
Would you be starting? It would be starting the
something-
brand new era of the elves.
It would be something, yes, it would be something to base a new tree network on.
Yeah.
Something far more ancient.
Yes.
It would be a new age. Yeah.
Yeah. The new age of the elves,
Something-
led by.
So he's basically
Well-
taking on the same sort of role that Ilsendal
Did.
for them.
Yes.
For the
when he
second-
created the first tree of life,
Yeah.
Mm.
which means he may have created it from the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mm. That.
So you would expect that it
That's
is
quite a path.
potential to, when you grow the tree, to dedicate it to one of the elements.
That's a good
That-
question.
Which
Yes.
you'd think that Ilsendal had somehow dedicated it to two.
That's
So his was basically energy and matter.
I might have to ask him how to do that. This is one of the things. Being in a situation to go, I'm going to go and ask a god about this. Well, actually, I'm going to go and ask one of his subordinates. Because I've got commune.
And
As
you
a
do know
ritual.
that Ilsendal is standing on the opposite side of a wall to Raphael.
Yes. And yeah, it's all rather an issue because, and this is where me, as a diplomat, is I'm going to try and insert myself and actually do something useful, and do what I can to bridge that gap so that it's because we've got elves on one side and elves on the other side. And if Raphael isn't moderated, then there's a good chance that there will only be shadow elves and no elves, because Alfheim won't exist and they'll just take it over. But if we go the other way, the shadow elves are all gone.
Drazzle
So-
does give you an idea. He does say that he believes the Master has dedicated his world trees to entropy,
Well, that's a good point. He would do.
which means if you dedicate it to the other four elements somehow,
Yes. No, well, that's what I was thinking. Of
which
actually
would
going
be
for.
which would be an actual counter to his.
Would I have to have those elements as attributes myself?
You don't know.
Well, that's why I was going to ask Nelson.
So, but that does give you an idea of how the belief of the world tree itself
Yeah.
can actually counter what the Master's trying to do.
Yes. No, that's something I'm going to have to work on, is how to use that tree and its elemental attributions to balance what the Master's doing.
And he does ask if Alfheim is the correct place to put it.
Well, that's the other thing too. And I would like it to be Alfheim for reasons. However,
Because he does think the Master cannot enter something dedicated to the four elements
yeah,
other than entropy. And if that's in Darken City,
it potentially more useful.
he adds that to your
Yeah.
food for thought.
Yes. Thank you. It is. I have a lot to think about while we are traveling.
Okay, then we'll go over and talk to Lani about her blue scarab.
Yeah.
How
So
does Lani think the blue scarab will actually help her?
so like scarab as in like a little bug.
It's about this big. It is a Nithian symbol,
Mm-hmm.
but it is the exact opposite to the Nithian belief system, because they were fire was the apex of their belief.
And this is
This is basically
this is the
something
opposite
related
of
to
it.
It's water.
I'm trying to think in terms of like cold time, and she was asking for a weapon. Doesn't necessarily mean like slash you with a weapon type of thing, but
It'd be what you.
it would be physical item versus concept
Yeah.
more than anything. And it like she specifically said to stop him at the power that he's at. So I mean, if like if any of you guys have any other ideas,
It's the blue beetle.
that's
Oh,
what
sure.
I was kind of thinking too. I'm just like, what if it is like a
This is the thing. We can discuss all this on the way there. We've got a couple of weeks.
yeah?
Mhm.
It's like
So,
what if it
as
is like
characters, we can
a
spend a lot of
power?
time.
I guess maybe like a power source that would bind into... I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's hard. Like, I'm kind of with you. I'm just like, I feel like I had to put it, like, in terms of what Lottie is and what water and tide is, it's very different.
I know.
Because she's a very physical person, and this is very much like...
And the thing is, it might be requiring a physical act to use it.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to think of, like, what physical act, and then what is the cause of it. Because Lottie could do the physical act. Easy peasy. That's the easy part. It's the what does it cause type thing. That's what I've been thinking about this whole time. Give me a little bit. I would go to Jeremy.
Okay, so Jeremy, have you thought of the name of your angel of Atruaghin?
I've been trying to do a bit of research on some Atruaghin history type bits and pieces, and I haven't come up with there's no particular names in there the information I want to find that relates to the bits and pieces. I mean, at this stage, it's probably simply still on an ancestor. And
I'm happy for you to consider on the equivalent of a Valkyrie sort of thing.
yeah. Yeah, so I actually kind of read back through some of the bits and pieces about, Atruaghin's history and things like that, but it doesn't quite work for having to be specifically Atruaghin himself or Atruaghin, when he went originally.
Yeah. Sorry, I was laughing at something I was reading because I'm expecting to be asked the same question about my shield, so I was just doing a quick search. I apologise.
So amusingly, the platinum dragon symbology is used in Dragonlance, as well as hinted at in Forgotten Realms. And
Well,
not
I
so much in
remembered enough
Greyhawk.
to look
so
up
much.
Bahamut.
Bahamut.
Yeah,
not so
but
much
what I
hinted at, because
saw
Bahamut's
here
actually
that
made
made me
god
laugh
in
is it's got died dash
Yeah.
1071 DR allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's
It was
also
funny.
it's actually something that some others of Redrian's investigation bureau actually saw the death of
Bahamut.
Bahamut and Tiamat
Yep.
being shot down by Redrian's ship. No, sorry, no, by Blackmore's ship, wasn't it?
Yeah, by Blackmore, one of the Blackmore's
Yeah.
high-tech weapons of destruction.
Yeah.
They basically took out the entire generation of dragons.
Ooh. Ow.
So the current generation of dragons are not related to the original dragons.
Oh.
They don't share
So
the same
depending upon
ancestry.
whether or not it's generally the research and storage and information provided by the other parts of the Bureau are available to
They are.
other members. You probably read reports on the vision of the death of Bahamut and Tiamat.
So that's what my shield looks like?
Yep.
I don't know if you
That,
can see
that will
that.
do, yeah.
Assuming that we've had time to write that report, I think that.
Yeah, you would have had time to go through with that, and it would detail that the reason the god died was the Blackmorians wiped out that entire generation of dragons.
Yeah.
So there was none left alive who knew the name Bahamut or Tiamat. And there's supposed to be a third god of balance that's also dragon god of balance.
And that's what that fight in
Right.
amongst the dragons at the moment is about.
They're trying to
resurrecting
bring back
Tiamat. So it looks like I'm on the other team.
Tiamat. They are looking to bring back Tiamat because she is a chaos god of destruction.
Mm.
Right. And Bahamut's the opposite of that, and we want that.
And he's more the lawful god of protection.
And God of War.
Yeah.
No one knows what the neutral god was because that's still lost.
Oh. That would be an interesting thing to do some research on.
Because there were 3 gods at that time. which represents the 3 heads of the current dragon high god. So Lord, Neutral, and Chaos.
Which then begs the question of when we saw the death of Tiamat and Bahamut, where was the 3rd god? Or where was the 3rd dragon?
And that's the thing
Or
is...
he dead, or in hiding, or...
Knowing dragons in
decided
fighting.
not to join the fight?
Yeah.
Well, part of wisdom is knowing when not to fight.
Mm.
So you'd hope that one of them was smart enough to go, it looks like I might wait until I'm ready for this battle.
Although, obviously, it didn't work, because all 3 died, along with all the rest of the dragons at the time.
And it's actually said that the Great One is the child of the 3rd missing god.
Well, that also makes sense for
It
Cal
does.
Crix to have that shield, because she talks to him every night ever since he told her off. Because when she was first born, she was kidnapped by goblins, and then she was taken on by her original party, so she didn't know she was supposed to pray to her god. So she was about 9, several years old before she first talked to her god, and her god's like, you don't talk to me, I don't know why I'd do anything for you. And she's like, I didn't know that was a thing! And now she talks to him just a little bit too much.
And so she learned to follow her god just in time to become an adult and not have to deal with demons.
Yeah.
Nice. Good timing.
Because adolescents don't have to follow a god because they don't have a choice to do so. Now it has to be free choice. You have to choose to do so.
But now he gets to listen to her talk to him very enthusiastically every evening.
So you do believe that the shield itself, while it can protect you, is more of has more meaning than just protection.
Yeah. I don't need to give it a name or anything, though, do
Mhm.
I? No. I would think not, considering where it comes from.
You could simply call it a platinum shield.
Yeah, if anything, I simply wouldn't. Yeah, like I said, I'd just call it a shield, because referring to it might actually end up attracting trouble and danger than not. If people were to realise that it belonged to a long dead dragon god, I might find myself being examined by a lot of dragons who might see it as something that they could use in their fight for or against the current squabble happening in the dragon world right now.
Okay, and Nia had taken out a crystal harp.
A crystal harp. And actually, that suits her character very well.
So it is said to have played the first real opera.
And you got a scarab, didn't you?
I just had a concept for that when we were done talking about Naruto's heart.
So did we get any instructions from Redgreen?
He suggested you come to him and start studying all the items.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to
Okay.
Garrican
Yep, so that's
to
where...
Red
So what did Lani
to
think?
do research.
She's probably playing around with it, all that stuff, and then just kind of saw it. So, I found this. Throwing Scarab, it's in the Magic Ebron book. We can adjust it as needed. But I was kind of thinking, so the Throwing Scarab, when you throw it, it attaches to the target. And I would think with the type of scarab that it was, then it could stop, not necessarily like stop that person, but freeze that person with their power that's within their moment of time. It could be released upon, of course, like I think they would have to make some kind of save of some kind.
Constitution save? Or
Something, I don't know, that's about as far as I got. So like the idea is that like you can
What's
throw it,
the-
it can attach, and it's more like a curse in that it freezes you in that moment of where you're at. Like, you can still move and stuff, I would think. I don't know. That's as far as I got with
So-
that idea.
What's
While,
the
while,
element?
while you're researching it, you have
Water,
read
time.
that there are some of these things that you can burn. But everything you read about this one says it might need to be ingested.
Oh.
Interesting.
And what it
So it could
does
be
is
like
undoes the major choices in their life.
There we go. I like that. That's a good one.
I was going
But
to say
the
that's-
person who gives it to them takes on those choices.
Oh.
Oh, so you give it, and then the person just like it would adjust, and then like undoes choices, but
You
it
might
makes
be-
the
you
other
might
person
become the
make the
master.
choice. That's crazy.
So yeah, it sounds.
It does, and the thing is, it would literally destroy the master.
And that is what I asked for.
Just that it would also then create you as another master.
The master, yeah.
And the
Yes.
question is, if you're created as another master, does that mean that you're able to?
Are you still an evil bastard?
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Will you be the master though with your ideals and ethics, or will you become evil? That's the question.
That is it. Well,
Are you just the master in a new
Because I think that goes into the whole idea
If
of nature
you
versus
think of what it
nurture,
is,
too.
Lani will have made the choices the master did.
Right.
But I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
necessarily have the same.
The master dedicated himself to entropy.
Yes. So
Like, you
Lonnie
would have
would
done
would make that choice, but with her own history and family ties, I guess tied into the choices going forward.
You could become the most horrific dread pirate in history.
Yes. Which would be cool.
So,
But-
so the dread
That'd be
pirate
Would
Lani
that
is-
involve being evil as such?
Yes.
Lonnie's a bit of a
depends on the
neutral.
acts that are required.
Yeah.
It's all based on what choices the master did to get to where he is today.
So, like, did he always make evil choices, or did he choose? What was his intention behind his choices? Is also a big influence.
Yeah,
as well.
a lot of
Because
people.
Lonnie, I would say, is neutral good-ish. So,
Well-
like, does his choices then make the personality more evil, or was he
Well,
already
really
inherently evil to begin with? Is the whole question.
Well, the question is did he see himself as evil? Like, there's a lot of dictators out there that say by taking choice away from
Mhm.
people, they save them the stress of having to make those choices. They give them structure, they give them order, they give them something to rely on, they give them security. So there's all these benefits, but they lose their freedom. But when a dictator's doing that, they don't see that loss of freedom as a negative. They see that security and all that there. So the master might have been making his choices thinking that, he's providing safety and security and reliability and assurances for his people for the future. But in actual fact, he ends up becoming the very thing that he's trying to save his people from.
Mhm.
And that the question would be is,
Yeah, because like,
You
is he somebody who started with good intentions gone wrong, or
Yeah.
was he somebody who was always inherently power seeking,
mm,
And you do believe he is a follower of At-Zanti
which we know is
is
the
put you directly at odds with Jeremy.
Bad
Yeah.
guy.
yeah, like real bad. So
Well, he's known as the Great Corruptor God.
yeah. Oh, so many interesting choices.
Well, it does put connotations on what it actually does. It does achieve the end you do, and if you can get a god to
That is that.
ingest it,
Yeah,
you then take on the choices that God made.
yeah.
the question is does that mean we'll be one day facing you and having to stop you?
But that's if I get the master to ingest it.
Yes.
I can get somebody else to ingest it. But again, whole bunch of different things, and it's also a thing like, do I like the next person I give it to? It becomes like a part of them, or can I give it away, and then they get somebody to ingest it?
You're not sure.
See, here we go.
You need to
You'd
do
have
more
to
research.
Are we thinking like in Justin? Are we thinking like a scarab that goes under the skin, a la like the mummy?
No, please don't do the mummy.
I know though.
I don't need that in my life.
We'll just say in jest.
It was certainly the image that came to my mind.
Squeeze the brain out.
Crush up. There's like
Could
mortar and
we
pestle.
save the person
The
who
thing-
already has nightmares and night terrors on a regular basis from having more?
I
Yeah,
know,
let's do
right? So
Unicorns.
Okay, so you
Yes. All
think
the
that's
unicorns.
rough with discussions with Drazzle and the others. That's what you expect. The Scarab's purpose is to basically drain their choices from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing is, even though you've already done all that, can you then act differently because you're now you rather than them?
But you've also made all the same choices they
Well,
did.
yes, but people change.
It's hard to tell. It might simply be that instead of this shapeless master that you're facing, Lani now loses her name and becomes the master, and is
Yeah.
that person instead.
Yeah, we don't
Because
know how
if-
much the change.
because the question then becomes, if Lani was following Alaxalaro, what power does she get to? What would be her intrinsic motivations? Keeping in mind that God himself is also corrupting in that time.
Yes.
And
I do not-
Drazzle's also mentioned that changing time is very difficult because a lot of the cases the events still happen.
No,
Whether the
it just changes the
person who
who.
made them is no longer there or not.
Yeah.
Well, and also based on the information we got when we
Secret
Went
was the master was
to,
Lani before.
Atoll,
Yeah.
Yes, it would be that. It was always
Akanoli, whatever it was, about the fact that if any of us actually entered the Master's terrain, we would not return.
Aha! Except for
implies,
Calcrix.
implies that Lani either is not the one to give the beetle to the Master, because the Master is presumably never coming out of his domain because the domain keeps extending,
Yeah.
or if Lani is the one that gives it to the Master, that's why Lani never returns.
Mm.
Which is a
Because she
self-fulfilling
becomes the
prophecy.
Master.
But just a reminder, that changed for Calcrix. The Queen of Darkness freed her from that. So, technically, when Lani's talking about the idea of giving it to someone else to give it to the Master, that is an option, I'm
So
guessing.
Yeah.
you could imagine
Yeah,
if the
I'm-
master turns out to be an ancient dragon who has access to all the elements. That would
Tiamat.
that would be if you gave the master the
Yeah.
scarab, you would most likely turn out to be the master
Yeah,
The whole time.
as an
ancient dragon that has all the elements. And right now, she's actually trying to, she's on her way of number 2 of the 2 elements that she's looking
Because
into.
no other dragon who enters that region comes out.
So that would
Yeah.
also be something to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine having the master's shock troops all being ancient dragons.
So rather than this video being called Coffee for All, like we first suggested, it should be review this regularly so that we don't end up making bad decisions about getting to the master. Because we don't want to be here 6 months from now where Drachnima's trying to kill Lani.
That's a bit of a long title, I think, though.
Yeah.
Coffee for all. Sorry.
It's subtitle.
Parentheses.
Beware of the future.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Be careful what you choose
Interesting.
and wish for.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Right now, I'm just going to satisfy myself with the fact that I got a new plushie and I can squish it.
And
That's perfectly reasonable.
what you've heard about the crystal harp is whoever hears it play questions their decisions.
Ooh, the harp sounds like a really good.
I like that.
And it has been known to completely change people's personality.
Wait a minute, that's called my self-critic and self-doubt.
Except it's forced on you from outside.
So I want you to go home and think about your life.
Yeah.
We call this one the therapist.
Yeah.
Because it's
Should
a harp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Therapist.
The
Thank
harpist. Harpic. Yes. Yes. We got the dad joke.
Yes.
Yes.
If Therion could, his paw would be on his forehead and he'd be shaking
Absolutely.
it.
Are you writing that down? Yes.
Double face
Yeah.
palm time, right?
Yes.
Tharparist.
A harpist.
What a tortured pun that is.
It's so perfect.
Perfect dad joke, yes.
This is like,
Isn't that
I-
the quintessential dad joke?
Yes,
Absolutely.
I have done tortured and convoluted puns that have got players throwing drink bottles at me.
Oh,
I've had puns that have gone on for months before
there's
people
some
have
strong
noticed.
emotions.
Yes.
Oh, this was the big lead-ups.
Well, the worst one I did was I created a game called the Thessalonian Resurgence Adventure Path, and I only ever said it in the full form. It took I don't know how many sessions before people realised it spelled out trap.
Yes.
I'm sure it was close to 10 in 2 different games.
Mm.
That's
And
funny.
then they went, ooh, that's why you got screwed over. We walked into a trap.
It was a tarp. So we're researching other people's gear.
Yeah, so the
Yes.
harp is something that does make people reevaluate their life, which can have good and
AKA
bad things.
midlife crisis.
Hey, you
Well-
could turn a paladin away from their path.
Ooh, that sounds
It
actually
doesn't
really.
it doesn't
it's-
say good or bad. It just makes
No,
them
no.
rethink their life
You
decisions.
reconsider every decision
You-
you've ever made.
You may decide that you've done everything correctly, and you may be okay with it all.
And
Like I
we
say,
got perfect,
from what we,
entirely
from the
stronger.
limited information we've had about the Master so far, that probably wouldn't necessarily make much difference to the Master.
Yeah, maybe not.
And if you
Admittedly, we've got very limited info.
and depending on your performance, you can actually put concepts in people's minds.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Right.
you want to build up some re-rolls that day.
Yeah, considering if you want to have it work on the master, you'll need to roll 20.
Yeah.
Possibly twice.
I'll have to talk to Martin about whether or not my writing counts now again.
Which also works on the gods.
Yes.
So you never know exactly who gives you the concept if someone's playing that.
So what was it Jeremy got again?
Jeremy got a
They
name
could
of
have
an
the
angel.
help of an angel
Oh, that's right. Yep.
when needed.
That you can call on once a month.
Yes.
Okay, what you do find out about that ancestor is they're also someone who can heal.
Heal.
They were honoured for their life-saving more than their prowess in battle.
Shame they we didn't have them when Tollicus needed it. When we
Which
meet
is certainly a interesting memorial characteristic when you're talking the Atruaghin clans.
Yeah.
And so a Atruaghin is considered a great warrior, but was a greater healer than a warrior.
He's a very unique sort of feature for an Atruaghin, I would presume.
So they do honour their shamans.
Yeah.
And their shamans live to about 3 or 4 times their age. They do reach to about 70 and 80.
Obviously, if you're not a warrior, in all the fighting, you're gonna have less risk, higher
And
chances of living.
some of the shamans go hand to hand into the battles with the rest of their folk. The fact
Yeah.
that they live to 80 and still fight
Yeah.
is a testament.
Yeah. Considering within the game system, clerics have a good number of buff spells and can actually have really good melee warriors.
And it is their belief system that melee is how you determine right and wrong. Does make a big difference in that aspect.
Yes. Which is why shapeshift to Goliath is a really good way to deal with legal issues.
Okay, so with the shield, do you have anything else you'd like to add to the shield?
I don't know what my options are. In what do you mean? Anything I'd like to add to the shield?
Well, so far we've got it down as Shield of the Platinum Dragon, one of the dead gods of the dragons.
Right.
Okay.
And You said something else after it before about being able to call upon that god. Which I presume is Bahamut. I gather a shield like that might have some more mundane protective qualities. Would that be something I'd look up in a gear book and talk to you about in between
Not
games?
necessarily.
Okay.
I can actually add at this stage.
Yep.
I will say the shield also protects the mind as well as the body.
That makes sense.
It makes sense being a shield of Bahamut.
Yeah.
Because most shields only provide physical protection.
Yeah, so-
And against someone like the Master,
You would need
the Master doesn't attack physically.
Yeah, he's not a
Right.
physical force. He's very much like the influential mind.
Most of his things are about screwing with people's
Oh.
minds.
Yeah.
Would it be a stretch because of her being in like that mother role that there might be some aspect of it that allows her to protect others?
Quite likely. It's most likely some of its features allow it to protect others with you.
Yep, yep.
But from the outset, most of that would be unlocked with time and power, because its power would be limited. Most of them would have no energy left in them, and they would slowly gain power over time.
So if I put in here to be unlocked, capacity to protect others.
And with artifacts, they have their own power that slowly recharges.
Yeah, I would think.
We're also interested to know whether or not it was created while Bahamut still lived and therefore effectively created under the blessings of Bahamut, or whether it was created after Bahamut was shot down.
How do I find that out?
You would have expected it would have been while Bahamut was still alive, because the name was lost when Bahamut fell.
Yeah.
So it might carry some of the blessings of Bahamut depending on...
It's most likely has part of Bahamut's
Essence?
personal spirit in it.
Yeah.
Every
Yes.
artifact has part of the god inside.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be one of the last remaining bits of him.
And it's enough that it can
Enough to
reawaken the god.
recall.
Yes.
The
Probably-
god can be brought back. from the
Probably
ship.
most likely the last remnant of Atruaghin.
Yeah.
Whereas the
Me smells possibly a use for it if I end up in the Dragon Wars.
Yeah.
Whereas the gunpowder in the setting
whole bunch
comes
of
from the
dragon
blood of the
files
dead
which you've
god,
got with
dragon gods. So there's a place on the other side of the Master
Yeah.
called the Savage Coast, and
Okay.
he's got gunpowder from that region, which is refined from the blood of the dead gods.
That's fun. That's neat.
So that's
And
the
it's on
only
the other side of
the Master.
like where like that area came from, because like realistically we're very much just on
One end of the continent.
not even the whole continent, like just one end of the continent and maybe a couple other like
And
smaller ones,
The
but we're
Savage Coast is almost at the other end.
Yeah.
It's very close, but not quite at the other end.
So it's like we're playing in opposite, of course. Like we're playing in Europe, and that's on Russia and China. So like
That's the main
just
reason why
opposite
there's
stuff.
no gunpowder in the setting is the guys made sure that gunpowder doesn't work here.
yeah, makes sense. I'm gonna switch real quick.
All good. But you have learned that they have this special stuff that when fired creates a toxic magic cloud.
Oh, wonderful.
And it really screws with spellcasters.
Ooh.
Which means very few people import it.
Wow, he was 55 meters long.
Yep. Bahamut, biggest there is.
Mm.
Well, biggest there is in D&D.
Comparable in size to Keesus.
Yes. But he's big.
He was often accompanied by canaries. Does this mean I get a little companion?
No. Those canaries are actually shape-shifted gold dragons.
That's what I mean. I could get a little furry, feathered, a neat little feathered friend. You know, Carpets likes her
In your case, it'll
entourage
be
of...
in your case, it'll be actual canaries.
Probably, yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't mind this. They're
No,
canaries.
that's fine.
I was still useful in the mine.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So when gold dragons start dropping in the mine, you'll be a bit worried. Especially if it grows back to normal size.
Oh, that would be a bit.
I really like his Fizzban the Fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that just so suited to someone called Calcrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings? It's all about being fabulous.
So
Yes.
remember the stories if you quite
Yeah. Fizzban the Maniac.
Why the maniac?
his magic
He-
always went alright.
He wasn't actually. He was a very capable wizard, but he wasn't very good at using it.
Well, he was fantastic at using it. He just didn't use it any way any other person understood.
Oh, there's that. Plus, of course, there's always Fireball.
Considering
But
that.
there's also the fact that Fizzban was just one of his many personality types.
Yes,
And
well, that-
other archetypes would actually be quite good at what he did.
And what was your
Yeah, it just
question,
wasn't
Amy?
very common.
Considering that he was also known as the Grandmaster of Flowers and favoured the yellow rose, could Eep occasionally turn herself into a yellow rose?
Yeah. It's also possible.
So
Yeah,
Calcrix the Calcrix the Bahamut resurrected
maybe not.
and Head Priest.
I like his diet. He likes to eat the frost off blades of grass, honey, and daisy petals. I'm like into that, but in a
Drake.
cookie.
Yeah, that would work. No, dragons eat anything.
And it's actually quite amusing to see what's the dragon eating? Well, he's wanting a bit roughy, so he ate some concrete.
Don't you just love this recipe though? To make these cookies, honey, daisy petals, the frost of morning dew blades of grass.
Yeah, that's good. It's
Sounds
a
like
sort-
spell components.
or alchemist components. Same thing, really.
Okay. So it will be next session, you guys will be level 11,
Right.
and you'll be starting the war. So actual warfare happening in a global scale. That's phase 3.
Which assured that if they put in charge of King of the Blanching Stars.
Yes.
And you will have many requirements to get through.
Does that mean are we ending the session early, or are we going to use
just-
the session for planning?
Well, we could do planning bits.
We can do planning bits about
Yeah.
what you want to do.
Yeah. What I'm still putting on the character sheet is getting as many renowns as I can get my hands on, at least for the main cities of realm regions. And getting them as high as I can get, which at the moment's only 2. Actually,
Will be 3
11
now.
go to 3. Yeah. So a portion of this downtime is going to be upping those to 3. Because I get 1 free upgrade, but the other ones I'll have to go up as well.
So,
Presumably part of the planning goes in and already doing the level 11 too.
Yeah.
What I'm actually going to do is basically.
One of the things I will be asking is elemental aspects. People can take on more than one element if they really want to.
Yeah.
I would
yeah,
like
you
to
did-
start adding a third to mine.
Yeah, you did point out a spell that allows someone to.
I will put some extra limitations on that one so it doesn't last. Because otherwise you'd be constantly, you once you've done 5 you don't need to do it again. But if it ran out, you'd
Have to keep doing it. I'm talking about doing it for somebody else. Yeah.
you could change one, but it wouldn't last.
Yeah.
So you can.
Although, could there be a way of actually having it last, but it's a significant requirement?
The idea is you can swap. So
Yeah.
So say
I
you've
know, I
got
realise
dark
that.
and they do
Yeah.
fire, then you can choose to keep the fire and the dark goes away.
Yeah. What it does mean, of course, is if somebody works out a way to gain a particular element and doesn't want to learn how to do multiple ones, they get that element, you switch it to a different one, then they get that element again, and you switch it.
But you'll also be able to extend one of the elements you currently know.
Yeah.
So would Lull want to extend an element or gain multiple elements? So technically you go down as having dark.
And dark. Yeah.
Did he want to have extended dark, gain 2 other elements?
Ooh. Some of that is actually predicated on the answer of, do I need the elements that I'm going to attune the tree to?
Okay, so you would find out from research that it's not the person that has to have it, it's what you nourish the seedling with.
Right.
Oh.
So that becomes, so the elemental attunement for me then becomes just personal choice. That comes down, that's,
I'm really loving reading up on this guy because I'm so accidentally like him.
yeah.
He says he disdained combat and preferred to talk with his opponents.
Yep.
Who brings out a coffee set almost every time there's a fight?
Yeah.
Well, there is a reason I introduced the concept of Bahamut into the game because it suits how you've been playing your character.
Yeah.
And Bahamut just happens to be exactly like that. Yeah.
Fits perfectly.
Up until then, there was no plan to bring Bahamut in.
Yeah,
Which
no,
makes
it's
you-
perfect.
Which means
Oh,
when
yeah,
you
no.
bring him back, you become.
Have you actually read Dragonlance Chronicles?
Yes, a long time ago. One
Yeah.
of the reasons Martin, I think, decided to marry me so quickly was because when we put our book collections together when we moved to Melbourne together, I had more of all the, so he was getting the Thieves World books.
Yeah.
I had more Thieves World books. He was getting to get the Dragonlance. I had all the hard-to-get Dragonlance books. I had every single Forgotten Realms.
So perfect.
I just filled out, he brought 400 books, but I brought 1,500 and they were all geek.
I love it.
Oh,
Right,
there's
right.
one for you. In
Rory and I did much better job of that. In the fact
Yeah.
that when we combined our book collections,
Yep.
they actually merged perfectly
Yeah.
to the extent that I had connecting book,
Yep.
which he had the 2 series for.
Yep.
The only one we actually doubled up on was
Yep.
Hobbit.
So
Yeah.
you can't actually separate.
We
So-
had similar thing where we had connecting books that we were missing. I think I had Thieves World, 1 to 21, and I missed 22, 23, and I had
Yeah.
24, 25, and Martin's got 22 and 23, and I'm like,
That works.
Yeah.
how did you do that?
You've
This works out
read
perfect.
the White Plume Mountain.
I've
Series?
probably read them all.
Okay, so,
Unfortunately, my memory
just-
does
Yes.
not
Would
allow
Lani
me
want to
remember
expand
what I've read.
upon
Yeah, friend of
a
mine
connection to
That's
water?
the real horror.
Or would
Yeah,
Lani want to
I
take
know
on
your
other
friend. You've got a
elements?
few friends who have written
Because
things.
technically,
Yes.
each
You know,
tier you can
Paul Kidd,
expand your
who's now
element
Paul
and
Yeah.
take
Yep.
on a new
Yep.
one.
White
If you
Plume
expand
Mountain,
it, you
that whole series
actually
is
end
Oh,
up
I
with
didn't have
powers
it.
relating
You probably
to
do.
Yeah.
that element.
Yeah.
Whereas
We are
the first one
downsizing.
just gets
Yeah.
you attuned.
More. Yeah.
We've got a lot of
There's
people let
a
us
few
know
others.
before they
So
go out
eventually
the
you'll be
Yeah.
able to literally do avatar style water
was
stuff.
also they were
Yeah.
also the
If you
first
just stick
person
with water.
Continue with bar,
to
yeah.
persuade
Um.
Wizards of the Coast, or in
Mm.
fact TSR at the time, because it was right at the end of TSR.
Mm.
First person to persuade TSR to publish a book without
Because the next
one
time,
of their
next opportunity
IPs.
was to
Yeah,
just be
one of
level
their
15,
things.
right?
Yeah, I remember
Or
it
16.
was
16.
pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Oh, it was his own game,
Yeah,
and he got TSR to publish
didn't
it.
know that bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
No, I
What
was
would
directed
make
by the
Lonnie
wall, so
the
I
most
always
like
feel
a
very
hurricane?
tiny.
Should
so
she take
I always feel very
air
honoured when
now, or
I
should she
meet
stick with
authors,
water so that she can continue to grow
make
in
friends
water?
with them and
Oh,
talk to
yeah.
them on a regular basis.
yeah.
Could take air to say she's got air and water,
Yeah.
which is literally the.
Although
what
my
you
editor
need to
consoles
survive
me and
on the
says he
sea.
was
Yeah,
rejected by all
exactly.
of them too, but
Yeah.
now he's published by.
Yes.
Maybe I should
A
take
fair
air.
few
I'm
of them.
thinking.
Well, that's fair.
Good.
No. Because if I take water now,
So also
Brain,
leads you in with
brain,
lightning.
brain,
Exactly.
brain. That's what I wanted.
because that's kind of what I'm thinking a little bit too. But if I learn water now,
It'd be like
Would-
3 levels of water.
3 levels of
Yeah.
water, would that allow me to start learning the cantrip like shape water or anything?
There'll be other things I'll be putting in there. So you'll have
Uh-huh.
things that you can use like cantrips.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Shape
I know
water's bloody
I did
useful.
learn one cantrip. I forget which one it was.
Yeah.
It was probably like probably something to do with weapons and something. But
Can you send me a link to
Oh, we do
that?
have it on the website.
yeah, we have it on the website. It's on there. I just can't remember.
It's
off the
easier
top
if
of
I
my
put
head.
it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking.
But that's a set of books. Queen of the Demon
They-
Kids.
Let's stick with
they
water for
bring it
now,
back.
and I'm thinking
Yeah.
the next time I'll go with air because she can at least do water and like lightning with the trident right now, and then the goal will eventually be then to learn a little bit of air because I think her concept of how she wants her power to be and her being, she wants to be a hurricane in essence. So yeah.
How about you, Jeremy? How does Dracnomir see himself?
Atruaghin striker, definitely Earth.
And wants to continue down that path with,
Absolutely.
because they'll be adding in extra details for taking it more than once.
What does extending an elemental attribution do?
Will give you powers relating to that element. So I was telling Gessley, so imagine
Yeah.
Avatar and how they could do affect the environment around them.
I've
Kinda
not
like
watched
that.
it.
Okay, so the equivalent of you can use the element for attack, defense, and lifestyle.
So I could make shadows and
You'll
so
mostly
on.
find you have abilities to do stuff in shadows that other people can't.
Yeah. Which is
Like you can draw shadows around you as you
So
move.
Yeah.
because to get
Be
your first
stealthy.
level of it will be limited to 6 level characters, majority of them all don't actually have anything except attunement.
yeah. I'll go for the extension just for the amusement.
Okay. And Ariadna, you were thinking of taking on water as well?
So what elements do I have currently?
You have air and darkness.
Yeah. Is that also known as air and entropy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thought and entropy.
Thought, entropy, air, darkness. And my other choices would be, just a sec, let me just write thought and darkness.
So at this stage, considering you have air, that means that the only options would be fire and water because Earth is a polar opposite.
Does that mean in my long-term goals I would eventually not be able to take Earth?
You can, but
Or
you
just-
can't take it as you can't take it without some sort of balance.
Or, yeah, just not right now.
You've got to
So
work your way around the circle.
my best other options would then, did you say water or fire?
Water or fire, yes.
In terms of fighting the master, would you be able to give me GM advice about which one might be better served for her in taking on that?
Well, a big chunk of your teammates are associated with water.
Right, so
In that case, it means you may fit more with them.
yep. And she would like that
Or you might be able
connectedness.
to fire by top of the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but yeah, I was gonna say she'd like that connectedness, but then she's always keeping in mind balance.
Because
So
the
if a lot of
current,
them are
the current issue with the gods is with the element of fire. So by taking the other 4 elements, you may actually help stop what they're doing.
so not take fire. Okay. Well, that sounds like the GM's advice, and it is good, so I will take that. So water. Where have I put that? Because it's in my list of things. Here it is.
Next to what's it near the thing.
I like the
So,
way you
Paul,
draw.
are we taking some aspects from this that will allow you to do some stuff?
Can I interrupt just while I remember, because I'm going to forget and I really need to remember this. Paul, do you have use for 1 or 2 cat tunnels? No. No use at all?
No.
Okay, alright, we'll ask other cat people we know.
Our cat's not using them.
We
Jeremy.
no longer have cats.
Do you have use for 1 or 2 cat tunnels? Talk to Rowan and get back to us.
Okay, I've checked her, but yeah, I suspect that our cat's getting a bit old now.
Yeah, I think ours is a bit old too, which is why I'm
Yeah.
trying to find a new home for our cat tunnels. I have other people to ask.
Okay. So.
Thank you for letting me interrupt with a completely
Okay.
non-game question.
So this is the complementing book, and there's a third book to come that they haven't done for 5th edition yet. They're still in the middle of making it for Pathfinder, which is Spheres of Thought.
That's pretty cool.
Basically to replace the most of the leveling stuff with ideas that you could then build the character you want, not the character that is detailed in the books.
Yes.
It's closer to GURPS than any of the other versions.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yes. But again, it's one of the reasons why, as I've said, the next evolution of my D&D game is going to be going to Dungeon Fantasy, not D&D 5,
Yeah.
or Level Up, or anything else.
Well, anyone who wants to use D&D Beyond for their characters won't be able to play 5th edition soon.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because they're going
Well,
to change
as
it.
you said, they're already changing it. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going
Yeah.
to D&D 1 now.
Yeah. But they've said, oh, it's all compatible with 5th edition. Yeah, but it's not the other way around. You can use all your 1 D&D stuff with your D&D 5 game, but you can't use the D&D 5 stuff.
Am I allowed to be
Not
mad
properly.
at the naming conventions? Because this is
Yes.
like going to 1 D&D or whatever.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
No, because they're saying, oh, it's not 5.5 or 6.
Yeah, but like,
It's
don't put a number in it.
So I have a lot of ideas. A lot of them will be for down the road, but in terms of maybe unlocking something with 11th level, a number of times in this game I've really wanted to and not possessed capacity to send messages to warn or help or protect others. Could that fall enough under the shield's use for the shield to be able to give me a spell
like
that
what
I
we were just
wouldn't
talking about?
normally have access to as
original Shadowrun
a
game.
I can't remember if I'm a sorcerer or a wizard or just a straight little magic user, but I know I don't have access to it under that, whatever that thing's called. Would that give me
Well,
that?
you can actually get a spell to do so at that level.
Yeah. Would that
That would
be
be-
reasonable? Yep. And I'll have to get specs from you about how much, when, that kind of thing.
Okay. Is there something Lull would like to particularly get as something he wants? Something that as a character you've wanted Lull to have, but he hasn't got it
Kind of like what I'm saying, I can't technically access sending spell, but the shield might let me access it even though the
yet.
game won't.
You could technically swap out one of your spells with sending.
Yeah, it becomes part of your spell list. I can't really think of anything. Most of the stuff I've wanted to get access to, I've been able to do within the system. Another attunement slot would be nice.
Well, you will. At 11th level, you gain a 5th attunement slot.
Another one again. A bonus one. Which ain't happening, right?
Well, you know, with that warlock ability, technically you can gain access to extra item slots that way, because some things will give racial people a free attunement.
Okay,
Well,
I
the
don't
other
know
one
that one.
Have you, what's the word, effectively activated Maxine's staff enough that it no longer takes an human slot?
Well, it doesn't use up his attunement slots anyway, because it's an
No,
artifact.
because it's an artifact.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, but actually, Well, one of the upgrades that I want to do, this is part of the standard stuff, is upgrading my cloak to a step beyond what it's already doing with adjusting both it and me to suit circumstances. But I don't know what to take it to.
Well, you could just leave it vague and I can come up with something.
Yeah, as long as it's appropriate to the item. And
Well,
what
it
I'm
would
using.
be more appropriate to you than to the item.
Yeah, well,
Because it would be based on your life journey.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah.
Because everything that's changed in those ways has always been about how the player's character has been portrayed,
Yeah.
not about what I think is best for all that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's always amusing to say, yes, you've now got advantage on your first opening thing. You don't really need advantage. But it's
Yeah.
handy.
Well, if I'm doing diplomacy and it's going to be a bit fraught, walking in with an effective +4 to my first roll is bloody useful. I've already got the language stuff in both directions. Actually, there would be a thing. Having my ability to read anything work on something I hear the same way, basically the equivalent of a permanent comprehend languages. So even if I had to take that as an extra invocation, I would do that.
If you have a look, I think there's a tier 5 thing for it.
Yeah, I didn't really have much of a look at the tier 5 thing because I'm not up to it yet. Because I've got the
Usually you're
ability-
sitting on Pathfinder, not D&D, which was funny.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Okay, Warlock.
Oh, there we go. Oh, he's actually written a novel called Tiamat.
Hmm.
Who has written a novel?
Paulie Kidd.
Yeah. Also, Paul was just telling me about.
Yeah. But yeah, Muscle Coverage is the novel she persuaded. It was actually Watsy, right when they were really early. And also, which wasn't noted in here, wrote the scripts and script coding for the original Discworld CD game.
Okay, so Eyes of the Runekeeper. At 11th level, it includes the languages forbidden by gods.
Yes, that's the extension I'm aiming at for the written language.
Well, that is part of Eyes of the Runekeeper. It's written
Yeah.
into the description.
Yeah,
So, not
I've already got eyes. What I
Wanting
want
is
to
something
do
that
is
is
extend
good.
that to something to what I hear as well.
Yeah, that is possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would Lani or Atruaghin think that their characters are missing?
That's always hard to say because especially after we did level up for Lonnie and all that stuff, she's pretty powerful.
Pretty well set.
Yeah, she's pretty well set for the most part, and I would think just continuing on with that, she would just learn basic spells to enhance her fighting ability. That's it.
I feel like you should end up with a little gnome or other creature yourself that is the person who now starts acquiring your titles and starts journaling.
The chronicler.
Yeah, chronicling.
A magical.
your
Could I
adventures.
get a magical scroll that will add on my titles as I go?
There you go.
That's all I really need. Because to be honest, everything that we're using through level up
So
in
you
our
can
basic
carry-
advancement, Lonnie's
So you're
pretty
going to
powerful.
carry an autobard.
Yeah.
Take all your
Okay.
notes as well.
Yeah.
What about Jeremy? What does
Oh.
Jeremy
I
see?
believe what you're looking for, what you're termed there is called a squire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Works.
And at 11th level, you should have one.
Or in the case of Lani's culture, a bosun.
Yeah, that would work.
So there is a thing called a folding
for
boat.
Dracula,
Yes.
well,
I would say
certainly
also
one thing that would be
next-
nice
folding
to have,
bullshit.
like, been wishing for ages, but also recognising that it actually maybe when it doesn't happen, is the idea that the Macatool being effectively a longsword means he doesn't get to use dexterity and your sneaky attack with it. But I think going on that line is really complicated, but I'm also be happy that it doesn't because it actually don't make it. It means you've got to think about it when he's in combat type things. So, but the other one is that, and from a purely mechanical game point of view, is he could really do with a magical longbow.
Magical longbow.
But of course, like I say, since he's not actually going to visit the Ice store, and
We're going to be in Darkin, why not?
I was gonna
He
say
doesn't like the store.
next.
Yeah, no,
Like,
like,
character
Dracula doesn't really go in there. And,
That's fair.
and also, of course, obviously, the number of times when someone looks at something simple like that, but you don't get it anyway.
I was gonna say next
I can't
ice
lie, I've got
storm.
no concern about what I'm going to do either.
Next ice storm.
But yes,
going
but the
for
reference,
something for natural
I'm
feature.
level.
Seeing in darkness.
Dracula's taking a 5th level in cleric, so he's now running 6 to cleric 5. I was tempted to take the road 7 and go to Asian, but I thought, no, I'll just be working down that side of the path.
Get enough cleric levels to actually be useful. To be not a beginner cleric.
Getting access to 3rd level clerical spells is quite
Pretty
handy.
important. Yes.
Though it does mean that Druzzle will have access to 7th level, I believe now. Or 6th level.
Yeah, lots.
I was also gonna say, like, next ice store visit, Lonnie will be looking at something to help with
Seeing the
dark vision, but I want that to be an ice store thing, not just a level up thing.
Martin might need to plan that for.
That's why I'm doing some planning and writing notes down.
Yeah.
Might do a separate day for.
Well, yeah, that'd be
everything.
a next time kind of thing, or separate day kind
Because
of
we
thing.
do have a lot of stuff on there, and
Mhm.
as I move stuff across, it does make things easier.
And I think,
Or
like,
maybe
now that we're
if
now
Lonnie's-
in,
If Lonnie's looking for dark vision,
yeah,
possibly the first place in the book is actually Drazel's pouch.
yeah. There's always that, because guaranteed Drazzle probably has something, but.
Well,
Lonnie is bemused by
certainly-
the ice store, so she likes seeing how that goes.
Certainly, goggles of night
Tends
have
to
been
be
a
a
relatively
little bit
common item
That's a safety
in a lot of
tip.
parties. So.
Right.
It has been, though they can be noisy.
Yes.
So Paul, if you end up looking at the halfling page, there's magical items there. It does say that subrace attunement grants one for each human of that subtype, and the subtypes are based on the element. So as long as you have that element, but with the factor of the warlock invocation, you're assumed to have had that element and it'll be of that subtype.
I'm going to fake it.
Yes.
Second question, Mark. I modified on the website anyway, but with the adjustment to the keys,
Yep.
does that give us a change? Does the proficiency bonus change at 11th level?
It won't change because you got that early at 8th level.
Right, okay, yeah. I couldn't remember whether it did change for the keys or not, so.
I will make it slightly different because you are going up to 6 tiers planned. That means that I will shuffle things about so it's still fairly even to play.
Yeah.
So the bonuses will be added per tier instead of every 4 levels, which the
Mm-hmm.
rules currently do.
Yeah. Okay.
Because otherwise you'll find that at above 20th level everything's just so easy to hit and defeat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You'll get a chance that it will still fairly easy to hit, but it won't be stupidly easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll still have to roll.
A lot more balanced.
Unfortunately, I have to aim for balance.
Yeah.
Because the concept is most characters retire at level 20.
Yeah, and like you have this planned to 20, but it can go on to 30.
It
Yeah.
can go up to
I was gonna say you had it
35.
planned. Yeah, you had it at 35.
I'm not a metallic dragon, am
Not
No.
yet.
But you can become one.
So, yeah, because currently chromatic could turn to
You
metallic,
can turn into metallic, and metallic can turn
Yeah.
into gemstone.
in which and
And
Yeah,
gemstone can turn into elemental.
Yeah,
Yeah.
changing the elemental.
Elemental can turn into a cosmic.
yeah.
Turn into a cosmic, which is when you can start going up into.
Well, the cosmic ones
Is the
are the
worlds.
ones that travel between worlds.
Yeah, that's
Literally.
that's
Ooh.
Calcrix's dream.
Whereas the elemental ones travel between planes, but generally planetary.
Her eventual dream, like, you know, when she grows up, because she will live for hundreds of years, will be to eventually travel the stars.
I love it.
But I imagine there are a lot of steps in between that she's got to get through, and
Yes.
she may not succeed at them.
Well, you have achieved one of the requirements to become a metallic dragon.
What's that?
You gain the shield.
You gain the shield. Okay.
Another, it's basically quest based. So if you meet the requirements of the quest, you can.
Hey, Radrian, do you have any quests that might line up into the quests that I gotta do to become a metallic dragon?
Part of doing it is doing research. Well, actually, no, asking him is research.
No, she just ask her dragon, but her dragon might not approve.
So
of
she
that.
could start next session as Silver Dragon instead of the White Dragon.
And yeah, that might be. That's something to talk to more after game, because it might require planning, because I've got a lot of questions here, really. I feel like we should book in calendar. Do not
Put a time,
ignore, do
yeah.
not put off, do not delay, as we have over the last 3 years, have this meeting, because technically Calcrix is my anniversary gift. You built her for me so I could play dragons.
There you go.
So our anniversary just having passed, I think I'm going to eke that just a little bit more out of it and work on her future
I think that's the
development.
best way to do it.
Dedicate the weekends to upgrading characters.
There you go.
I'll make sure I bring all the DM needs, the coffee, the chocolate cookies,
Absolutely.
the donuts. He doesn't need the donuts, I do. But, you know.
Yes.
Does anyone have anything else I would like to talk about for their character over that level one?
So you said level 11.
Yeah.
Outside of what's happening with these artifacts that we've just gained, I'm gathering we'll get more spells. So I guess that falls into when I talk to you about Calcrix's development, I talk about which spells I want to keep, which ones I want to drop. Let's see.
And you'll also need to figure out what sort of followers you want to take with you.
Yep.
Because from level 11, you must have followers with you.
Yeah.
You don't get a choice.
Oh.
Now, when you say followers, you don't mean Eep and
No.
Grindelwaffe.
Grindelwaffe does count as a follower,
Yeah.
Okay.
but it will be the people that you lead and may potentially be what keep you from getting swamped by various armies.
Would that mean Grindelwaffe might be developed in the sense that he could become more of a healer, that he's very informally,
Yeah, no,
unofficially being?
And
He could become capable.
And he could end up being your second in command.
Other followers, where do you get them from? Like,
People turn
I'll
up and
just-
say, I would like to follow you.
I would think
so.
So between level 10 and 11, you'll have spent some time recruiting people.
Okay.
Especially considering there's a lot of people arriving to deal with the monster.
We could think of them as like just lower level adventurers that follow us.
Yeah.
So
Is it and then is there like a number you want us to think of, or just like player's choice?
It's in the role.
choice to start with, but you will end up with
See how it goes.
having to pay their way.
So could
Makes
I
sense.
technically say?
But yeah, it's a few, but it's based on your domain,
Yeah.
and we don't really have domains yet.
Yeah.
We're still setting them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
And-
character for you.
An artillerist gnome named Duke and Cover,
Accidentally a weak.
who may be available.
He's currently in a war helping me out.
Okay, so I couldn't pick.
For him, he'll be unavailable at this stage.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know. But
This makes me want to look at my old characters now.
yeah, well that's
You got to remember also
It's
that
actually a really good idea.
I have like 5 or 6
your follower
actually.
is on significantly lower level than you are.
They will most likely, you'll have a second who will be higher level than the rest,
Yeah.
and most of the rest will be first level-ish sort of people.
Yeah.
considering it's just
I
on
I got like 5 or 6,
Yeah.
5 or 6
Could you
characters.
give me just 2 minutes to just give me an idea of? So while I'm thinking about who this, so they have to be what similar level to you?
No, lower.
They are. The second in command will most likely be at the most half your level.
Yeah.
Half.
Then you might have one half that level.
And the rest will be ones.
Yeah.
And then
Because the following rules they have in the books
So half
don't
again?
work well.
Yeah.
So basically, you're probably looking
Oh,
at
sorry,
a
the
fifth
level
level
up book or
follower,
the D&D?
a second level,
The base
and
D&D book.
some
I
first.
haven't gone through the level.
Sorry,
up
Jeremy,
recently.
say that again.
That does a better job.
you're probably looking at one fifth,
Yep,
one second,
yep.
and some first.
So 2 or 3 firsts.
I hope y'all are ready for Captain Lonnie. I'm excited
Yeah,
now.
we've been looking forward to that for a while. I basically made a plan that when we got to 11th level, it would be more mass combat than has been previously.
I'm excited because I'm gonna have a really cool hat.
Would these follows come from people
That goes
who
with my
have
really
met
cool hat.
along the way?
They can.
Matching feathers. Let's go with the clan colors, right?
So I'm
Yes.
guessing
All they
that
might
you're-
be, all they might be brand new people that have just heard of the renowned Kelbricks and have come to Kelbricks to say, hey, I want to learn from you.
That was just going to be the same thing. Because of the pen pal ship between Thala and Calcrix and Duke, could say Duke have sent a fellow artillerist to her, even if it's not Duke himself.
Blood orange.
You could have, yes.
Sun
Yep.
blood orange.
And
with the raven. With the raven.
the other question was going to be, what was my other question going to be?
Black, red, black. Feathers on your hat. 3 feathers.
I love it. Yeah, that would look weird. I'm gonna have to draw this now.
Swashbuckles.
So I'm going to have to figure out your prestige levels.
I'm gonna be
as
drawing
well.
pictures now. I'm not a good drawer, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
My brain stopped. There was going to be another question about that, but yeah. So not June, which is fair enough, but and would so back in my very first session, I rescued a salamander. I don't know if they're strong creatures or not, but in that first level thing, would that sort of a creature help?
It may, and it's going to be completely up to you what sort of people you want to have.
I'm not objecting to having some new people, but I'm just also exploring about other people I've met in my life. Because the salamander's a fire person, so as they develop, they might be able to help me do some fire things.
Yeah.
And this means I have to read my journals, which I haven't written very well in the last 18 months.
Well, you
Since
can
the
change it a
numbers
bit.
comes.
And you'll be considered
Apparently
prestige
it's gonna-
rating 7.
Be like,
Okay.
So
so
you can have 7.
So up to 7?
7 followers.
Up to 7. Okay.
And you choose between inexperienced, seasoned, and expert.
And what does expert look like?
Inexperienced is 500 gold.
Yep.
Seasoned is 2,000, and
Right.
expert is 5,000.
Right.
So it's going to come out of the amount of money you have to
Yep.
spend on magical items and upgrades.
Yeah. Which. Yeah.
I think
it's
I've got a
affordable,
record
so-
of how much money I've got here somewhere.
There'll be more coming at level 11.
Yeah,
It's going to
yes.
quickly duck to the
That,
bottom.
I guess
Oh, there it is.
finding out how much money we've got is probably good.
Well, we end up with like 20 grand each from a bunch of gems.
I was gonna say
So we've
that's
got
stuff
cash
that
in hand for
we've
this
had
stuff.
before. Yeah.
The thing is, if we want to buy like a rare item,
Mhm.
that's going to be most of that money.
Mhm.
If it's an item we actually choose. Right, followers are going to be very, very useful if they are skilled.
Yeah.
I would go medium quality at the minimum. Possibly a leader at max quality and maybe upgrade the other ones later. But
Spawns a lot of this today.
I sent you the link on Messenger.
Thank you.
It's actually to Paul's Wikipedia page, which has a link to her website.
I need a Wikipedia page, but I have not got the feeling in my hands to write one. I don't even know if I'm allowed to, even though I'm technically published.
I was gonna say you're published. We
You
should.
can.
I'll make you a Wikipedia.
I published. I've made a bit of money. I've not made huge amounts of
All
money,
you,
but a
all
bit
you
of
need,
money.
all you need is someone who's registered to write on Wikipedia pages.
Mm.
What's this for then?
But
An
Well-
author page for
Yeah,
me. It's something that I'm sorely missing,
Yeah.
apparently.
the link that she asked me to do for Paulie Kid
Mhm.
is actually a Wikipedia page, which has a link to her own website. But it gives info on what she's published and stuff.
The idea is to hopefully ramp it all back up this year.
Yeah.
Since that spark that was killed by medication seems to have finally lit back up. Which is huge when you think about it. I didn't think it was ever going to come back. Now all I need to do is develop a stalker fan, just one, to motivate me
So,
enough to
that
keep
red?
typing. I'll be right.
Yeah.
Thinking of giving each character 100,000 gold to
Ooh.
pay for stronghold followers, and
That's almost enough for a good stronghold.
the idea is you keep expanding it each year.
Yeah, oh yeah. Ooh.
That bronze dragon, that Calcrix, I can't remember what happened with it that the archaeologist had.
It's still
Did
alright.
Calcrix end up trying to heal
Recruiting.
it?
Recruiting
He
as a
healed
follower.
it.
Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
Okay, so I'm sticking in on my possibility recruitees.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I'm a white dragon, so it might not look. He might look down on me.
If you recruit it as a follower, it's because it wants to follow you. So, yeah. If you've got him as a follower, you've persuaded him.
Well, it no longer has a master, I guess.
No,
It's-
it was working for the archaeologist, but it can change it to you.
yeah.
Yeah. Because it's going to be part of the research that the archaeologist is going to help us with when we're doing stuff with Red Dragon.
Yes.
You
I
can
mean,
And the money's good.
yeah, the money's
Hey.
really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I was sort of thinking of getting a fairy dragon, but they're probably a bit high level for this sort of thing, because half level, level 5, whatever it is,
if we go for inexperienced, seasoned, and expert, or we'll just wait for what levels they are and just make them appropriate.
Meow. Meow.
Check his littles. That's the only job I'm supposed to do as far as he's concerned. I am
Yes.
the great little checker.
Yes. What would be amusing, and this is one of the things I was thinking when I first saw the stuff on followers, is take my girlfriend as a
You
as
can
my
actually take
follower.
care of
I was gonna say that would actually be
Yeah.
perfect because then you can bring her into.
Yeah, and gives me a healer.
Yeah.
Because she's a druid.
And then take his kids as followers.
There you go.
Into a war. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we can get rid of the shadow elf all over again. One password.
Okay, we've written up the elves to say that the parents don't necessarily bring up the elves, the community does.
Yeah, well, you've already
Because
mentioned that.
With 100 years of growth, it's sort of it's a bit much for two people to take on.
Yeah.
As a community,
Yeah. And the other thing, get them socialised properly.
it explains why elves are more well-rounded as an animal than a lot of other people. Because they spent most of their 100 years socializing.
Yeah, and they're not being brought up by one person's view of the world.
So Jeremy, do you think you can figure out some nice followers and stronghold for Dracnomir?
Yes.
Consider options.
Yes.
Obviously, yes, he's got an obvious base at the present time, although that's not really,
That makes no sense.
speaking a lot. And but yeah, he will likely end up with a few
Shift
uh,
as a domain.
Atruaghin representatives that are coming down the plateau.
Which gets even more fun.
Possibly a couple of dragon side personnel as well. But yes, I'm thinking about it. But right now, I do apologise, but I'm going to have to.
You have to go?
Get my hopes there. It's been a very long day today.
No
Thank you
worries.
for staying as long as you did, considering how tired you were at the start.
Yeah.
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 Have a good night, all. Thanks
Have a
very
good
much.
night.
I will catch you guys either tomorrow night or
Yeah.
next week or week after.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
Remember I mentioned last session that I had interviewed for a contract.
Yeah, for me to sign.
Yeah, it's worth doing because we're